Hello, everybody, and welcome back to That Pretentious Book Club. This is a very, very special episode.
Yeah, super special because we have our special holiday guest, Lexi
Our holiday
Potter.
fox, Lexi
What?
Potter. And
Hi,
she looks
guys.
so hot today, you guys. Like, she just showed up and it was like this, the anticipation built is just what I'm going to say, because her camera didn't work, quote unquote. She's like, oh no, my camera's not working, you guys.
Trying to make an entrance. That's me.
Yeah. And
That's why I'm always late.
she did. Yeah. And then her camera finally turned on and I was like stunned. I was like, oh my God, I forgot
like,
how hot she
whoa.
was.
Shut
And you
up,
like,
beautiful ladies.
We are
your
so
hair,
hot on
your
this
makeup.
Zoom right now.
Tell me
Yeah.
nice things about me.
Oh, we're gonna
It's
anyway.
true.
So
Yeah.
Thanks.
I have to. Thanks.
But yeah,
Well,
it's such a joy to have her here.
It is.
I've been
excited to be here. Thank you.
Yay! I've been really looking forward to this one.
I know, I
To be
have to.
honest.
Me
Mostly
too.
because we had such fun with Dracula last year. I was
We
like, this is gonna be
did.
good.
It feels like a million years ago.
It
I
does.
know.
That's
We're
great,
all in
but
different
also,
places.
yeah, it feels like yesterday and also a million years ago,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I guess is just how time works now as adults.
Yeah.
I guess
Well,
so. Seems
Exactly.
to be.
Like, we're almost in season 5 of the podcast now, and I'm like, we just did season 1.
Yeah, that
5.
seems impossible, honestly.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wait, that's insane.
Isn't
I
it? This is our
know.
Congratulations, you
episode
guys.
of season
Aw,
4.
thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you.
You've read so many books.
We really have.
It's
It's a lot
true.
of books.
That's
We
really
have,
exciting.
yeah.
Do you remember any of the MASH?
No, I'll be honest.
Oh
Get her ass.
Do you remember? I was literally just like, that's why I don't know if you guys could, there was a bit of silence there for a moment because I had a blank stare where I was like, literally
books?
trying to remember what else we've read. And I was like, nothing
no.
ever. I don't know how to read.
That is so silly. Oh my
Have I
gosh.
ever read a book in my life?
I've just never read anything.
I've never
No,
read anything.
she's
you
actually
guys.
illiterate.
I'm illiterate and I am not qualified to host this podcast.
She's been lying to you all.
It's true. Yep. My husband's not literate either. He also can't read. So we're,
Oh.
quite the couple.
You
Quite
guys
the
really,
match.
that works out.
I can't believe you just
Yeah.
called him out on this podcast like that.
Oh, he knows.
Feels like
he
that was a
knows.
secret. Oh.
Yeah, he was making me mad once, and so I told him to read my lips, and he said I can't read, and I was like, oh, that's right, I forgot. I'm a suck for you. It was funny. But yeah. Anyways, there's Dr. Spoons Palermo.
Hi, howdy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and over there is Asha O'Rourke, but you can call her Wheezy.
it ain't easy being Wheezy, and we've already introduced her, but we're gonna introduce her again. Is Lexi Potter, aka the Holiday Fox. So,
Hi. I love that. I love that moniker, I guess. It's my favorite
Yeah.
thing.
the moniker.
No one in
Good.
my like adult life knows that I like foxes. Or I guess you're in adult college, but
I'm
as
not an adult,
27,
it's
no
okay.
one's like, here's a fox. Everyone's like, here's normal
Really?
adult stuff.
This is really good to know, actually, because like when I find out like what kind of animal a friend likes, I'm like, okay, so from now on, every item I get you will be related to that animal somehow. And so I stopped doing that because I assumed everybody was probably still just getting like Carissa really likes owls. And so I stopped getting her owl stuff because I was like, I bet she gets so much owl stuff. So I'm relieved to hear that. Your name in my phone is still Foxy. And I literally the other day, Javi was like, who are you podcasting with? And I was like, oh, Spoons and Foxy. And he was like, who? Like,
What
oh,
are their
you know.
real names, Ash? That's so
Yeah.
funny.
I love renaming people. It makes me feel like I have power over their lives, like a puppet master.
You
Oh
are
my
no
God.
longer your given name. I will give you one now.
I have christened you.
Don't worry.
It's your Ash name, yeah. Well, we
You've
all
been
know
waiting.
how you are with nicknames. You're just
Yes, we all know that
obsessed.
I just want one so bad. And
I have one.
I know. Apparently that's
Which
not good
one?
enough. She
Which
wants
one?
another one.
Which
Okay.
one?
Wheezy.
Oh, If I call you
No, I kind
Red,
of picked that myself.
Red.
I'm
Hey,
okay
Red.
with Red.
that's pretty cute.
But here's the thing,
That
someone
is
has
cute.
to actually use it because you're not the first person to propose a nickname for me. Like perhaps Trash. Was that you who came up with Trash?
Me?
Somebody in college
Me?
was like, it should be Trash because it rhymes with Ash.
I think that was literally
Trash.
me.
Oh,
okay.
you?
I was
As
like,
a
I don't
joke.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I
were you
wasn't gonna
Ashhole?
actually call you
maybe
Trash.
maybe were you the one who called me Ashhole in college? Somebody in college called
No,
me
I think that
that.
was Marianne. but I do. It was
It
funny.
sounded like a you joke, or maybe I
That
just
is
remember
kinda
you
funny.
laughing.
Maybe
at
I
it.
was. I remember what the hell, Ash? That was something that we said a lot. That was more like a catchphrase more than a nickname.
What the hell, Ash, the catchphrase
Yeah.
of
it
the
was like
college crew.
it's a catchphrase. Every time you did anything.
What the hell, Ash?
Even if it was good. It was like, what the hell, Ash?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if we did that all the time, but I hear it in my mind forever
Yeah. That's good.
when I hear your name. Is it? I'm going to
No,
call
what
you
the hell,
Red
Ash?
instead.
I think it's cute.
I
Red
like
instead.
it.
I like
I
Red. I'm
think
surprised
it's
no one's ever
cute.
called you that before.
Yeah,
You've had
of
Red hair
all
for
the
a long
things.
time.
No, Scarlet Harlot, Scarlet Slut, many things in that vein. Never red. I have had red hair for what year is it?
2022, my dear.
When did I start college?
I don't know why I didn't answer the question. I was like, yep, you can figure it. I don't know.
Y'all
It's
made me
the
feel
last-
crazy for a
What
second. I was
year
like,
is
right?
it?
For the last I think 6 or 7 years, I have had red hair. So I don't know.
Scarlet Harlot, I guess, is pretty good.
It
Just
was
Yeah.
good, but
to
no
the
one
fact-
actually calls me that. They just
Good.
say it when they're being funny, and I'm like, no, actually call me that.
I will call
No,
you
I
that
like
if you
it.
want. I like it too.
Like Spoons, I don't know how far you've read into because you're reading the rewrite of my book that I finished rewriting. And I don't know if you noticed so far, but like the one character has like 6 different nicknames. And I was just getting it all out of my system.
I feel like this is
So
how it is. I am the god here. I can make as many as I want.
And nobody can stop me.
No one can stop.
Is this character like you? Is this like autobiographical character?
I mean, not on purpose, but in the sense that it's a first person POV. So of course they always kind of end up that way a little bit. She's not a ton like me, but I was definitely like living through her and getting to enjoy all the nicknames.
That's awesome.
There's like this
Self-insert.
cute, like
That's why you're not
handsome, rakish character who keeps calling her nicknames. And everybody knows a nickname from a rake is like means more than like a nickname from somebody else. So
It's true.
yeah,
That's so exciting.
Very
I want to
true.
read it.
I can send
I'll
it to you.
read
if you
all
wanna
the
read it.
stuff you write if you want. If you want.
I would love to if you want. I would love to send it to you. I stopped asking a lot of people because I feel bad. I feel like they feel obligated to read it. And so I'm like, I don't want to make you feel like you have to read it. But if you want to read it, I'm happy to send it to you.
I want to read it. I'm a very slow reader. It takes me forever,
That's okay.
but I want to read it.
I think
It took
it's
me
fun.
forever to read this teeny tiny book. So it really made me question my brain if it was
Yeah.
still in there.
It was-
Still knocking around in there.
Yeah, I
That's
can't
so
feel
funny.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, same.
On,
girl.
yeah. On
Every
that
day.
note, this episode we're doing Frankenstein by Mary Shelley.
Ah, yay!
This is
Yay,
good.
yay.
I tried to make a lightning bolt sound with my mouth, but I can't do
Ka-chow.
that. So I was like, which isn't very scary.
I think it was good. It was better than ka-chow. which
Ka-chow
what
is-
I went with.
Perfect. But it's not very scary
No.
unless you don't like Owen Wilson.
Then it's terrifying.
Cowering in fear.
That guy's so scary.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God, that's hysterical. Yeah, this book was not that long, but it did take me as much time to get through it as if it was a long book. I think because the language was like a lot more elevated than I was expecting, which I shouldn't have been surprised. Like, of course, it's Mary Shelley. Of course it was going to be. But I was like, why isn't this really easy to read? Aw.
Why am I not zooming through?
It was written in 1800, so why don't they speak the same as me?
I am. What did I say instead of a letter? I called something an email the other day about like
No.
Yeah, we were talking about a book, and in the book, the character sent a letter to somebody, and she was like, "So she sent off that email real quick." And
I was so upset with
serious.
myself. I'm still so upset about it.
really
Amazing.
funny. She's like, "I
That's really
emailed
silly.
back."
Like the hashtag thing where people say hashtag instead of pound and then they get mad at themselves because they're
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
no,
No,
I'm
it's a
too old
pound.
to say hashtag.
Yep. Yeah. Wow. You ever just like hate yourself
Stop.
A little bit.
I mean, yes,
a
but
little
don't
bit?
but don't do that.
Yeah, but we're not doing that today. We're
No.
having fun
No.
today.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
You only can do that
how
in the dark
has,
when you're by yourself.
In the dark when you're by yourself. That's probably when you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually the worst time.
Yeah. Only
Wow, sorry.
loathe yourself in front of people who can correct you.
Exactly.
True, that's the best way to do it.
That's a good point.
That's way. How has everybody's weeks been? I don't know who wants to start.
Lexi, you go first.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. It's been, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's been a little rough out there getting a job that I care about in 2022. But this is my formal or I guess informal resume for anyone who wants to hire me for anything. Preferably like a voice acting or like publishing position, anything in a publishing company would be great. But in case that doesn't work, I guess I have to continue just slogging on Indeed every single day, which I guess is fine. Just go through it.
Gotta love Indeed.
Yeah, mostly this week I was just trying to read this book, and I had a lot of emotions with it because I loved this book in high school, and then I was like reading it, and I was like, why am I having a harder time reading this than I did in high school? Am I dumber? Did I get dumber?
Oh, no.
What happened? Did I
God.
like, what's going on? Am I just like 50 or not 50? You could still use your brain at 50. Am I 100 years old and I can't read anymore? I don't know.
Being me, okay? Imagine being me. I've never understood this. Imagine just being dumb your whole life through.
You're not dumb. Don't say these things.
Y'all
I
to
am
me.
turn me up.
You
No.
had those yellow cords at graduation, okay? You're not dumb.
Yeah.
Listen, Lexi, you've got a lot more going on in your life right now that is taking your attention other
That's true.
places, I'm
Yeah.
sure. And
Yeah.
I think, you know,
That's true.
also you probably are like understanding things on a deeper level actually now than you thought you were when you were younger. You probably read it and were like, it was like, I understand everything. And now that you're older, you're like, oh wait, actually I want to think more critically about this, and it's
Wait,
making you think that you're dumber, but you're
That's
not. You're
funny.
actually smarter.
Yeah.
That was me in high school. I was like, I literally got this. I know everything. Don't you worry. I'm going to argue with everyone.
That was my impression of you in college too. I was just like, so Lexi knows everything about every classic ever.
What?
Because every time we read a classic in school, you'd be like, oh yeah, I already read it in high school. And then you showed me like your annotated copies from high school with like really intelligent annotations. And I was like, I just learned what annotated means. Like, what?
I went to a really pretentious high school. It's not your fault.
I love
There
that.
you go.
Your high school is my dream. I want to send my children to a high school like that. Javi is so not in favor, but I really want to. I don't want them to be dummies. I don't want them to go to Javi's high school.
Pretension.
It teaches them to be like mean, like not mean to each other. It teaches them to compete. It's like I went to Chilton,
I was about to say, it sounds
but
like
it was
Chilton.
Christian and it
Gilmore
was
Girls.
tiny.
I still don't see a problem.
Christian Chilton. I love
Yeah.
it.
I still don't see a problem.
Did I ever tell you guys? I don't mean I've only been on this podcast twice, but did I tell you about when it was my last couple days as a senior? It was the first graduating class of that school. So they brought in like an online magazine journalist to interview us. And he said, what's it like being at this tiny school, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, everyone else was like, yeah, it's crazy. We're always in competition with each other. And like, we're trying to one up each other. And I was like, you guys were competing this whole time. I was just doing my best.
Like,
that's
oh,
funny.
okay. We had
Ooh, I
different
missed the
experiences.
memo on that one.
That's me with any board
Good,
game or
honestly.
game ever.
Like, oh, we were playing for points.
Oh, wait.
Ooh, yeah. Board
Yeah.
games are hard because the whole time I don't care until I'm losing. And then I'm like, no, it's too late. I can't win.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I got a new game. You guys would both love this game, so we should all play it together. It's you guys have probably seen ads for it because I'm a huge sucker for like Instagram ads for stuff. It's like you get like a little magnetic board and you get like all those like word tiles and there's like a prompt. It's a little bit like apples to apples. So you put down a prompt like you have to tell your friend that you accidentally let their dog out of the house or something. And then you have to use the tiles that you have with those limited words to like put together a sentence. And it sounds just insane. And it's so funny. And so I'm very excited. It's like the
Have you
old,
played
and
it?
to me, no, I mean, I just have read a bunch of the options. So I'm like, I see this is how it's played. So just looking at like people playing the game has been funny enough that I was like, worth it. And it just now occurred to me that since it's a game, there's probably a way to win it. That it hadn't even occurred to me that it was like a win or lose thing. I was just like That would be funny. I'm gonna do
You can have
that.
house rules where it's like nobody wins. We just
I
have fun.
love that. See, that
Yeah.
sounds good to me. Javi would hate it, but
Competitive.
yeah,
Taylor is too.
yeah. Ugh,
He's really
gross.
good at games. It's really annoying because he'll
I
win.
hate that. Yeah,
So
I've been
rude.
playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, which I feel like you would really like, Lexi. You played it.
I have complicated feelings if I want to play it or not.
Yeah, I didn't
think I
want
do.
to. One of my friends was playing it, and I was like, okay, like it would be fun to play something someone else is playing. I'm always playing like weird games when I play games that no one's playing. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And I was like, it's like $30. And I was so unhappy about actually getting it. And then I was like, oh my God, I can't stop. And I'm addicted to this game now. And Javi was like, that's stupid. I'm not gonna do it. I think that him just hearing how far I've progressed in the game though has made him feel competitive. So he sent me a picture like last night, and he has a little avatar character in the game and he's playing the game. And so he's been calling me to brag about stuff all day. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm still really far ahead of you. And I thought he was also either going to do it and just breeze through it to try and show me up, or he wasn't going to play it because he thought it was stupid. Now he's like super into it. This game is addicting.
That's amazing.
I'm not a Disney person. He's not a Disney person. I don't dislike Disney. I'm just not like a Disney identifying person, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think I
No,
used to
there
be that
are.
person. That's amazing.
I'm
I
not a
didn't
Disney
expect that
adult.
twist. Yeah,
I
I'm not
know.
a Disney adult either. I like Disneyland because it's nostalgic and fun, but
yeah, I've never
Disney's
been.
been pissing me off a little bit recently.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So I never would have picked Disney Dreamlight Valley to play, but it is very fun. I have a problem. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's a cute bonding thing between you and Javi, but then it seems as if it's compete- so it's competitive. So is it
tearing apart our marriage? Yeah, no, it's pretty fun. It's more bonding than it is competition, because how can you compete with someone who refuses to play with you? Like, I don't care. I'm not in competition with him. He's trying to compete with me. I don't care. So
you're like thing.
You're thinking ahead. You're on another level than everyone else. You're like, you can't beat me if I don't care that you win.
It's true. And I've always thought that. And people hate that I say that. And I told Javi, I was like, wouldn't it be like an empty victory for you? And he was like, no. So a win by any other name for him.
Amazing.
Yeah. What about you, Spoons? How's your week been?
It's been fine. Just reading this book and doing school stuff. And that's about it.
What was your favorite school thing that happened this week?
Oh, none of it's been like good, but
what was your least favorite school thing that happened this week?
Well, we did have a presentation this week and it went all right. So that was pretty good. And I was really like, oh, please let us go first. I want to go first so bad. And we went first, and I was the first person to talk in the group. So I just got to chill out the whole rest of the class. It was great.
That's the best.
The best.
Funny. There's a bit of like a harried, melancholy air to each of our weeks, it feels like, which is actually not completely dissimilar from the weeks that preceded this book being written, which I'll get into in the bio.
Ooh.
And so I'm just like, we're actually accidentally still kind of in theme, even with our respective like levels of depression, are respectively
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Oh, I love this transition.
I feel more
doing.
Connected. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Tell us, please tell us about the party or what was it? A writer's retreat? I vaguely know about this, but I don't know all of it. So I want to
you guys, for Halloween, I decided to give you guys the special gift of my effort. Like, so I actually,
thank you.
You're welcome. I actually researched like in advance, like, which I always do, but I always take like very basic notes, and I'm like, that's good enough. Like, unless there's something like really scandalous I want to get into, which has not happened much recently at all. Why aren't authors more scandalous? I hate it. Anyways, there's not enough gossip. But this one I actually made an effort because I remembered there being some interesting stuff. And of course, like Frankenstein was written out of a writing competition, which if you guys are literary nerds like all of us are, you probably know that. So I'm going to give you guys Mary Shelley's bio, Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. And then within there, I will get into the crazy, like, candlelit storm party and weeks of depression that led to the competition that birthed this book.
Oh my gosh. This is like literary excellence is what it is. This whole story is so iconic.
It's so good. It's like the story of how this book was written could be an amazing novel. Like
Yes.
somebody, I need somebody to write like
Is there a movie or something? Like, I would love to see a
There should
movie.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah, if there's not one, there should be. And it doesn't even have to specifically be about Mary Shelley, but about this group of people because they're freaking insane. So this is going to be really fun.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
I only know a little bit, so I'm so excited.
Well, now I probably know just a little bit more, but
Nice.
I went for the more scandalous stuff than the academic stuff. So this
Then
is
I
gonna be
don't know
fun.
anything. Just kidding.
Oh, hell yes. Okay. So this will be fun. So I got all of my information from Britannica.com, the British Library Online, and History.com. So
Nice.
Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, originally Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin, was born August 30th, 1797 in London, England, making her a
Wait, what was the day again?
Yes, Aiden.
August 30th.
Oh,
Cancer? Is that Cancer?
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I only know Lion and it's Leo.
Literally. Wait,
Me.
wait,
I only know
wait.
mine. It's Aries.
Is
You got
it-
this.
Is it?
Oh wait, no, I know
is
it.
it
That's
Virgo?
Wait, that's my husband's birthday. Yeah, that's Virgo. Blech.
Yay, Virgo!
Woo, she's a Virgo.
Wow.
That was really funny for me.
Goodness gracious.
Okay. And so Mary Shelley was the only daughter of radical philosopher William Godwin, who described his daughter as, quote, singularly bold, somewhat imperious, and active of mind, end quote. So I feel like that's a really nice quote from your father. I would like that. Her mother, who passed away only days after she was born, which is very sad, was a famous women's rights activist, Mary Wollstonecraft. And then Mary grew up with 5 kind of related siblings in the Godwin's household. I didn't get a lot of detail on that, but it sounds like maybe cousins and or like family friends, like kids who needed a home kind of all ended up being siblings. So being like pseudo siblings in her house, which is kind of cute. And is kind of like there's a little bit of that echoed in Frankenstein, actually. So
Mhm.
that's that. Here's where the scandal starts. And this is easily what Mary Shelley in her personal life is most known for. So she got the name Shelley by the famous poet Percy Shelley. Percy Blood, I can't say his middle name. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Anyway, so they met and in 1812 they met in 1812 and then they eloped to France in July of 1814 when she was 16 years old. Here's the not great part. Percy Shelley was already married at the time, which I did not know somehow.
Percy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it gets worse. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So the couple were first married in 1816 after Percy Shelley's first wife had committed suicide.
Oh no.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's really, really bad. The internet says that they had several children of whom only one survived, but I only found the name of one. And if they weren't really together for all that long before he died. So I don't know. Anyways, so Frankenstein and some other stuff, like their whole story started because they had a ghostwriting contest on a stormy June night in 1816 on Lake Geneva, Switzerland, which is, part of the setting in Frankenstein. So it was inspired by that. She was 19 years old at the time, which is mind-blowing to me.
That is crazy.
Yeah, she was 19 years old. And so Frankenstein is often called the first true science fiction novel. And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Mary Shelley the one that's been called the mother of science fiction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you Google it, that's what comes up. I did it earlier today.
Oh, see,
Good
so I'm
for
not
her.
crazy. I meant to double check that and I didn't. See, I didn't like pour in like full effort. I just did like 80% maybe.
No.
80%.
My brain was like, do this. Ash might not have. No, I'm just kidding. I
No, I appreciate
it was a
that.
sentence.
This is why
Just kidding.
This is
No.
why we were such a good team in college. You were like, I actually know things. And I was like, I'll
No.
act like I know things.
No, I think I was just easily distracted. I also looked up how many miles are in a league while I was reading today because I was
How
just
many?
like, I don't remember, but I looked up how many miles are in 20,000 leagues. That's the book,
Oh,
right?
like 20,000
leagues.
Oh,
leagues.
20,000.
And it's
yeah.
34,000 miles ish, give or take. So that's the
Oh.
only part I remember. It's because the last
Oh,
thing I
but
looked up.
that's-
I don't remember the rest of it.
What? Oh my
Wait, no,
God.
there's 5 point whatever kilometers in a league. I did it. I figured it out.
Wow.
There's like 0.6 miles in a kilometer. Wow, I've
League
never remembered
sounds
anything
so much
well.
more impressive. Why did we stop saying
Well,
leagues?
it's nautical, so I
Yeah.
guess you might still say it if you're on the sea
If
a
you're in
lot.
a submarine or something.
Yeah.
You guys have seen How I Met Your Mother, correct?
Yeah.
I'm
No.
just going to become like, okay, well, there's this character named the Captain.
The Captain.
The Captain. And he's this guy who uses like all nautical language and he's obsessed with boats and he's super rich.
Boats,
and he
boats,
just
boats,
says
boats,
like,
boats.
yeah, boats. God, I love How I Met Your
It's
Mother.
another How I Met Your Mother thing. I'm so sorry.
It is. Yeah. They end up getting together, boats, girl and the captain, which makes sense. But anyways, I bet he says league. That's where I was going with. But Spoons, you haven't seen it. So your lack of understanding.
I mean, I think I get it now. That sounds like a funny character.
You should watch it though. It's like pretty good. The
It
bits
is.
on it are really good.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I think that everyone hated the ending so much that then I was like, well, now I won't watch it because I
Just-
know it ends bad.
Just
So-
don't watch
end
the last
bad.
season.
It doesn't end bad.
It does though.
There was no way it was going to end in a satisfying way. It ended well. It just wasn't satisfying. It wasn't going to be
Well,
satisfying.
how is-
stupid and dumb.
There was no, from the start of the show, I was like, there's like one of two ways to end this, and neither are going to be great.
Well, they didn't. This is not on topic at all, but they didn't know, I guess, that it was going to run that long, so they had to
Yeah.
like keep adding stuff to
Yeah.
make it make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, my
Well,
husband and I
accept it.
watch it, and we get mad at the end every time. It's really fun.
Oh,
It's the same
Javi acts
conversation.
like Javi likes to say I have no good taste in shows, but every time I'm watching How I Met Your Mother and he's home, he's like looking over his shoulder and he'll be gaming, and all of a sudden like Barney will say something in the episode and he'll start cracking up, and I'm like, what are you laughing at, Javi? And he's like, that guy in the show, and I'm like, Barney, and it's always Barney. He thinks Barney.
No,
is so
it's
funny.
always Barney.
It's always Barney. I was like, bro, that
Not
is
to
so
like
unnecessary.
red flag your husband, but that's a red flag. I'm just
No,
kidding.
it's a massive red flag. No. And then Barney will say something skeevy about a girl and Javi will go, hell yeah. And I'm like, stop that. Absolutely. You're not in support of Barney. Oh my,
Oh my gosh. It's annoying because you like Barney. As you watch it more and more, you're like,
Yeah.
I do like Barney. But
Yeah.
he says
But
the
he's
worst
still a red
things.
flag factory. Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
still, yeah.
Yeah.
Javi
Anyway.
relates to that. Anyways, I guess back
Hopefully
to
that
Mary
was enough to
Shelley.
make you want to watch it.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm putting it on my queue right now.
Oh, look, and I can even draw this back into our conversations. Speaking of red flag factory, Lord Byron's about to get involved in the
Lord
story.
Byron!
amazing.
That was the perfect transition, Ash.
I thought so. So
Mhm.
anyways, Mary had been traveling with her lover, Percy Shelley, their 4-month-old baby, and her stepsister, Claire Claremont. At this time, I don't believe they were married, but they had a 4-month-old baby. So that was a long affair. Anyways, at the time, her stepsister, Claire, was pregnant with Lord Byron's child. Okay.
What?
And if you guys
going
don't know much about Lord Byron, he's basically known for being I'm going to facetiously say a big old slut. Like he is known for, he's had so many affairs and he was like not ashamed, like so many affairs in England. So, and he's also a famous poet. So that's kind of what he's known for.
That's so weird. When I visited his house in England, they didn't talk about that. That's
weird that
why they hid
England's
that
not
part.
I'm proud of that, of their national hero, Lord Byron.
He had so many affairs in this house.
Ugh, gross. Oh Lord. So Lord Byron had recently just divorced his wife, and rumor had it continued an affair with his own half sister. So that was apparently happening.
No,
Oh
please
my
say
gosh.
psych. Please say psych.
Nope.
Oh,
We've
God.
Why
talked
do
about
these things
cousin
happen?
lovers a lot. But we haven't
Yes!
talked about half sibling lovers, which I
I
feel
know
like
England is small, but like it can't be that small.
there's no way it is. No. So Byron was with the group, with Claire, who he's not actually with anymore. He just impregnated her and now he's dating his half sister. He left them. They go to Geneva, and then Byron actually shows up at Geneva and he's like, hey, besties, time to party. And Claire's like, F my life. So apparently she was not pleased about that arrival. And I was like, yeah, he sucks. So and this is going to make you not like Percy Shelley very much. He and Byron became absolute best friends. Like they were total besties. So that's going on this whole
I
time.
think I already don't like Percy. That's
Yeah,
know.
you didn't really have to convince me.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know. I don't really like him, but Lord Byron I've always thought is so much worse. But after this, I'm like, okay, so Percy kind of sucks too. Like England's male poets at this time were sketchy, to say the very least.
yeah.
We
They were
don't
like-
trust them. You don't trust
They
them
were
with
so
your
good with
sister.
words that they could just, they thought they could do anything.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so bad with women. So bad. Oh Lord. Anyway, so during this time, like when they went to Geneva, they were all on vacation, but right around that time, there had been a really big volcanic eruption at Mount Tambora. And so the weather was really, really bad that year because there was so much ash in the air, I guess. And so there was like, it was really dark a lot of days. There were there was a lot of like, I don't know about famine, like I don't know if it's at the level of famine, but there was a lot of starvation going on because with the sun blocked, the crops were dying and stuff. So it was just like a really bad, couple years following that eruption, which I did not know was a part of it. But basically that led to them spending almost all of their vacation time indoors. So they were all like staying at these couple villas, I know, around Lake Geneva.
Oh God.
Yeah. So they would all just kind of like hang out at each other's villas inside, but rarely outside because of the horrible weather. And there was a lot of storms that year too, which is, yeah. Oh my God, Claire. Also, poor Mary Shelley. She had to basically, this is what they would do. They would all just like hang out together, mostly at the place that Lord Byron was renting, which was like this big fancy villa or whatever. He was there with his personal doctor, John Polidori, who was harassing Mary Shelley because he was like obsessed with her. So that's gross. And so they were all just hanging out. Poor Mary Shelley with her lover Percy, Claire, her pregnant like stepsister, and Claire's the baby daddy, Lord Byron, and Percy and Byron are buds, and creepy John Polidori is all hitting on Mary. And the women just had to sit there in silence while the men would just talk about like, I guess at the time, like reanimation and life after death was a really big conversation in like their social circles, like the uppity social circles. So there was a lot of that conversation, like around the fire with the storms outside, like that's the vibe. And they would just do that. Like every night they would just like sit around and like tell ghost stories and like chat about stuff like that. And
that's fun.
Yeah. But Mary described herself as a silent observer, which I mean, you're just like, oh, this sucks for you. And any woman who has to sit through this insufferable conversation with these insufferable tools.
God, poor Mary. She deserved to win this contest.
She really, really did. So tensions between all of them became pretty tense, not shockingly, in this condition. Byron was annoyed, apparently, by Claire's attempts to enchant him. Apparently, Claire wanted him back at some point. I don't know why she'd want him back. Maybe she was like, I would sure would like it if my baby would have a father.
Yeah. It was the hormones. It was the baby hormones.
It was probably and then Mary had to fight off, quote, sexual advances from Dr. John Polidori. So I'm like, great. Percy, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing right now? And then this is all it said about Percy. And this is a direct quote from the article. Percy was depressed. So
I bet they all were.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, yeah, I bet Claire and Mary were depressed too, you guys. Like, this is not all about the boys. But anyways, so there was a point where 3 days of rain had trapped them inside the villa. And so they're all hanging out by candlelight telling horror stories. And Byron decided to challenge everybody to write a ghost story that was better than the ones they'd just been reading. So this is weird. So Polidori, we'll go with his first. He finished his ghost story first. It was a novella called The Vampire, spelled with the Y, because it's cooler. Published in 1819. It was considered the first work of fiction to include a blood-sucking hero. That's another quote from the article. But here's the crazy thing. Many people think that the vampire, this like heroic, handsome vampire character, was based on Lord Byron himself. So I'm like, oh, John, who were you really there for?
Yeah.
Was it really for Mary? I think it might have been.
She was overcompensating. That's why she didn't mind as much.
Yeah.
She's like, I got
she
you.
totally knew. She was like,
oh,
listen.
100%. Yeah. Like what? She's like, please.
She's like,
she's
you
a
could
quiet
do better,
observer.
but
she's like, I don't want to be your beards. Please just leave me alone. That'd be nice. Anyway, so apparently at first Mary really struggled to come up with a topic for her story, and they kept asking her like night after night, like, what are you gonna do for your ghost story? And she's like, yo, I'm still thinking about it. Leave me alone, God. And so she was looking out the window one night and lightning flashed, and she said that she saw, quote, the hideous phantasm of a man stretched out, and then on the working of some powerful engines show signs of life. So even the way that she like recounts her own life is so like, the language is so elevated. I had to reread the quote like 3 times to be like, what is she saying? What is she mean?
Her brain is so good.
Yeah, so that is what inspired her book, Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus, which incorporated the kind of creepy setting of the villa where the doctor and Lord Byron, and they spent a lot of time, and the really morbid conversations all the men were having. The story, obviously, you guys have read it. So if you guys have not read the story, listeners, the kind of themes of the story revolve around the idea of like what happens when men pretend to be gods. And the quote from this article that I had to put in directly because it was so good, it said, inspired perhaps by the hubris of the company she kept in Switzerland. I was like,
Perhaps.
yeah,
Really good.
perhaps. Gee, I wonder. So it was superficially a Gothic novel, considered a Gothic novel, influenced by the experiments of Luigi Galvani. And this one I actually did mean to put in the effort. I meant to look up Luigi Galvani. Can y'all look him up? I just want to know if he experimented on dead bodies. That'd be great.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyways, so things did not end happily for most of the vacationing crew because, they've been having such a fun vacation already. Things got worse. Well, not for Mary. Things got better for Mary. Her book was published in 1818 and was both then and now considered revolutionary to the art of literature. Polidori also ended up committing suicide in 1821.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is really sad. Then Percy Shelley drowned during a freak storm in 1822. He was only 29 years old. That was just a few years after.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, so
Okay,
it's
great.
crazy. And then Byron took the daughter that he had with Claire, Allegra, and took her away from her mom, sent her to a convent where she died at the age of 5 in
Oh my
1822.
gosh.
Yeah, and then Byron died in 1824 after contracting a fever. I feel like they called down a curse upon themselves or something. Only Mary and Claire lived past the age of 50.
Wow.
And all of those deaths happened within like a few years after this whole like weird
That's
Switzerland
crazy.
thing. It's
That
crazy.
is really weird.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that's like, that's weird. And there's a part of me of like, people didn't live very long then, but I want to believe it was a curse.
But like all of those were like freak accidents.
Yeah, it's true.
Or
Yeah.
like
That's weird.
suicide.
That's true.
So it's like different than
weird.
like just getting, well,
Like, just
except
getting
for
sick.
somebody
I
got
feel like-
sick. Byron
Yeah.
got sick, I guess.
Byron got a fever, but I mean, it was still weird that the whole
It is
crew
weird.
was pretty much wiped out within a few years of
That is weird.
writing these stories.
They're
Also-
witches.
Yeah, I looked up Luigi.
I did too. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
Tell me
it says
about
that
him.
he studied animal electricity, and he and his wife Lucia
Lucia.
discovered that the muscles of dead frogs' legs twitched when struck by an electrical spark. Like, okay.
Gross. I'm guessing that
sounds
this
like that
was yeah. So
Yeah.
apparently that inspired her books. I'm guessing that was one of the frequent topics of conversation around the fireplace with all the men. They were like, "Oh, have you seen about that work that Luigi guy is doing?" Oh, yes. Amazing work, that man. What a genius. Only a man could have discovered such a thing.
Yeah. How much you want to bet it was all Lucia?
Right? Right? Probably.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Percy wrote like a foreword to Frankenstein that made it seem like he wrote it or something stupid.
Did
He was like, I don't know.
I would
That
not
was
be
literally a
surprised.
blurb that I saw. So maybe
Oh
that's not
my
true,
God.
but I'm like, of course. Yeah.
like I would not be
If
surprised.
true, I'm so mad.
If true,
If
I'm so
true.
mad but not surprised. So after Percy's death in what was it, 1822? Is that what I said? Yeah, 1822. She returned to England and she pursued the rest of her career as a successful novelist, biographer, travel writer. She also edited and promoted her husband's poems and other writings posthumously. So I think she really liked the guy. I think that their decision making wasn't excellent, but she seems to have really cared about him. And I mean, he just seemed a little, foolish, and also he was depressed. So he had a lot he was working through.
There's
Man.
a lot going on at this
Yeah.
Geneva party. Like
Yes.
there was just a lot to deal with,
There
apparently.
was. I feel like this is either like they called down a curse or like somebody was murdered and like they all knew it happened. They all had to like be part of the cover up, and then someone started picking them off,
like, I know what you did last summer. Like,
Yes,
that's
just like that. Just like
Oh,
that.
wow.
I feel like it's that kind of trope. It's
They
either that
probably
or a
did.
curse. Yeah.
Probably
so
that.
I mean, it was like weird and stormy and dark all year, and they were all trapped over there. I feel like maybe there was another one. Maybe there was somebody else involved in those parties, and we just don't know them because they were murdered. Lord
I
Byron
choose to
probably
believe
killed
that
them.
now. Lord Byron definitely killed them, and
Definitely
then
is the one. Mhm.
Yeah, 100%. And then Polidori definitely helped him like cut up and hide the body.
Yep. And then the rest
Oh,
were just like, I
totally.
guess we'll help you.
I guess
Whatever.
because
Yeah.
we don't want to all go down for
Claire
this
was like,
murder.
Mary, please. Like, I really like him. I don't want him to go to jail.
Mary, I really think you could change him.
Oh. Mary's like, oh my gosh, please. Like,
Please,
okay,
please,
I guess I will.
I
The
guess I'll
thing
play
that
along
I
with
think
it.
is so crazy about Lord Byron is that his daughter is Ada Lovelace. Isn't
is
that crazy?
That's insane.
Mother of computing, basically.
It's
Like,
so weird.
What the
And he
heck?
had another daughter,
Isn't
Allegra,
that
but
weird?
she didn't make it, which is so sad.
Aw.
Yeah, I wonder what
Yeah,
Allegra
that is
would have
sad.
done.
Like,
Anyways,
she
sad.
would have created a allergy medicine.
That's what I was gonna
yeah.
say.
Sorry,
Anyways.
Allegra.
So Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus, was first published in 1818 and revised in 1831. She wrote several other novels as well, but one published in 1826 called The Last Man, which is apparently an account of the future destruction of the human race by a plague. Interesting. Is considered her best work, which I had never heard of it, so that's interesting. But Frankenstein is her most well-known work. She also wrote a travel book called History of a 6 Weeks Tour, which recounted the tour that she and Shelley took when they eloped in 1814, as well as some recounts of their summer in Geneva in 1816. So interesting.
Yeah, scour those.
I know, right?
Excited.
I'm like, I need the clues. I want to
Looking
know
for
what really
clues.
happened. I know what you did last summer in Geneva. So Mary Shelley passed away on February 1st, 1851 of a brain tumor. She was 53 years old, and that happened in London, England.
Wow.
And that's everything I got.
Good job, Ash. That was excellent.
Thank you. I thought it was good. Because I enjoyed the scandal. There's not always scandalous stuff to share, but
I mean,
it was
this is
spooky. It was scandalous.
Yeah.
Exactly what you want for Halloween.
Everything you want.
Don't you love that she came up with it literally on a dark and stormy night? Like, that is so
Yes.
exciting. Good
I
for
do.
her.
I also love that, like, these men who've been like, oh, good sir, good day. I'm so smart. You're so smart. Aren't men just the best? And then she just like blew him out of the water with this amazing story. Yeah,
I love that for her.
Makes me so happy.
Good for
amazing.
her.
She's
Yeah,
my
she was
hero.
just like, oh, I'm just gonna like invent science fiction real quick. Don't worry
Casually,
about
at
it.
the age
Like,
of 19. Don't even worry. I got this. The age of 19.
yeah,
I
that's
can't imagine.
It's crazy.
seriously. Yeah,
Like,
I don't
trying
know.
to think of something new is so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, she wrote like one of the most famous works of literature of all time at like 19.
Yeah.
That is
Insane.
crazy.
It's mind blowing.
Okay, do you want to talk about it? Okay, let's talk about it.
Let's
Look how
talk
good
about
my
it.
guys, do you like my cover, by the way?
It's
I love that. That's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
I
I
love
did
it
not
so
get a
much.
really pretty copy. I got like a decent copy.
Oh,
Pretty one too.
I don't really know why a hand sticking out of the ground as if it were about zombies, but I do like it.
I like it.
The cover
too. It's
designer
cool.
hadn't actually read the book.
Yeah, I know.
It's good though. I still like it.
David read it.
Well,
I like them.
honestly, this book is like pretty different than you would expect. I don't know if you've never read it. You just kind of know
Yeah.
vaguely about Frankenstein.
I promise
So,
it's so different than you
It's
guys
like
think
so
it is.
different.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. So what I thought was so fun was that it's actually like a frame story. So
Mhm.
there's this guy. His name is his name Walter? Why do I want to say that? Walton.
Walton.
It's because Walter's a
Walton.
real name. Walter
Right.
isn't.
So Walton is like the captain of this ship, and they're in like the Arctic or something. And there's all these he's writing letters to his sister, and the ship comes upon this guy who's on this sled, and they're like, hello, what are you doing? And he's like starving to death and dying, and he's like, nothing. And they're like, all right, well, come on board. So they get him on board, and he like, is very sickly and has been obviously in the cold and stuff forever.
Yeah.
And he tells Walton this crazy story. This is Victor Frankenstein, who is the main character. And so basically, Frankenstein, I just hate this guy so much.
I know.
The amount of
I
times that I
hate
skipped him speaking.
Wait,
Yeah.
who do we
Crazy.
think? Who do we think Frankenstein? Who do you think Mary Shelley based Frankenstein out of her little crew?
Oh
And I want
God.
to say Byron, but
I
he's not a science guy.
Maybe
No,
the
it could have been the
doctor.
Could have
Could
been
have
Apparently
that.
she
been
was pretty
Polidori.
fed up with him. So
That makes a lot of sense.
Maybe so. So we start with like Frankenstein's, let me tell you about my childhood. And if I was Walton, I'd be like, please don't. I do not care. But he did anyway. And so,
yeah, it really took me out of it a lot, where I was like, this man's just sitting here listening to all this.
Yes. And you're also like, because we know like a dead guy is gonna come back to life, so we're like, okay, let's get to that. Like, let's skip all this childhood stuff. But basically, Frankenstein had like a pretty good childhood. His parents were like loving and nice and everything, and they adopted also this little girl, like, to kind of be his sister / future wife, which is weird, but
not okay.
Her name
we
is
don't
Elizabeth.
approve.
Yeah, I'm like, this is basically incest, right? Like,
basically, aside from like biologically, in every other way,
weird.
but biologically, it's
they
incest.
were raised together. Like, it's weird. But anyway, so as he got older, he kind of got into like weird science stuff. Basically pseudoscience. He was like, what if alchemy? And everyone's like, that's fake. And he's like, I'm really into it.
I've been watching Full Metal Alchemist while reading this book. So I was like, oh no, that's different. It's a little different.
Like, hey.
I know this is.
I know that. So he's like, what if I could be like really awesome? I can't even say it. He's so embarrassing. He's like, what if I could bring like dead stuff to life? And so he just starts working on it. And he's working on it. I
love that you think it's embarrassing instead of just horror. I was like, oh, that's awful, horrifying. You're like, that's embarrassing, Frankenstein. Honestly, Frank.
Yeah, because he has like no self-awareness. Like, anyone else would have been like, maybe I just won't do this. But he's like, what if I could do this? And never stop to think, should I? You know?
No. So Franks has absolutely no self-awareness and no like real social skills and like no forethought.
He has no.
There's really
like,
there's really nothing interesting about him.
There's
and
really
then
not.
The only thing interesting is that he's like, I figured out how to bring people to life. And it's like, but you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. The one interesting thing about you should not have ever done.
Yeah, no.
He's like, I just really want to have something cool. You know, Lord Byron's like known for his affairs and shit. Like, I just want to be known for something.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy who brings the dead people back to life. That'll be me.
God.
I also like to think that the whole time that Dr. what's his name?
Polidori.
Yeah. He was like, my childhood was so cool. My family is the best. And then she's like, oh, well, that doesn't mean a thing, my dear.
Yeah, I bet you're still a freaking weirdo.
You're still the worst. Apparently, like, why are you like that?
Yeah.
It's like, really, what's your excuse now? Like, you just need to tell me you have no excuse for being this way. Great.
Excellent. So Frankenstein, he takes dead body parts and Legos together a guy, and he's like, he's gonna be 8 feet tall and he's gonna be awesome and he's gonna be the coolest guy ever. And the thing that kills me is that he literally put all of it together, knew exactly what he was gonna look like, and was really hoping it would work. And then the second it works, he's like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, you did it. Like, what did you think?
There was an interesting thing in this book where there was a lot of emphasis on obviously looks, because he's terrifying to look at, but he's like, I'll take all these handsome, like attractive body parts and I'll put them together and that will create one full attractive being. It's like, that doesn't make sense. If the skin moves around when you move the stuff, like that does, if you can see the muscle still, it's not cute.
It's not cute.
Look. Ew, it's not.
Hot take. Frankenstein's monster, not that cute.
Also, his lips are black, so that's super weird. Don't understand why you did that.
All white
it's
and milky.
Dead flesh, so it's like gonna be weird looking.
Should have figured that one out, pal.
What was he
seriously
thinking?
And then like Dr. Frankie was like shocked. He was like, "Oh my god, ew!" And I'm like,
like no.
Did you not look at him before you turned on the electricity? Like,
I was so pissed off because the second he sees him, he like doesn't do anything. He just like freaks out and runs into the other room.
Yep.
Then freaks out more and then takes a nap. And then he's like,
yeah. If my mom ran away from me my whole life, I'd probably kill someone too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it.
Nature versus nurture. I don't know.
So true.
Yeah.
And like,
Very true.
know we'll get there, but I am completely on the monster's side on everything. I'm like, listen, I don't care if you commit atrocities. I am on your side and I agree with you.
This is like the
There's
Scarlet
nothing
Witch
wrong.
argument. It's like, it's fine. You're upset. You can kill people if you want. I get it.
Literally, I'm like,
I get it.
She's fine, you guys.
It's fine.
Everyone makes mistakes, okay? That's how I feel about the monster series.
That's also the argument that us Loki lovers used to make. We're like, it's okay that he killed like a ton of people. You guys, he's still growing, okay?
Y'all really were like that.
You watched that one video clip in Loki the show, and now he's good. It's fine.
Yeah, he's
now.
fine. Guys, he's good now. Nothing else he did in the past matters. Okay.
He saw the way he was going to die and was like, no, thank you.
Guys,
anyway,
he had it rough. He was adopted.
Okay. Adopted. No one was nice to him. And I know this is the same argument that the Phantom from Phantom of the Opera made, but I'm still like, no, he sucks. The monster rules. I can't decide why, but that's how I feel.
That is so funny.
That's an interest. I wish I knew why, because that's so interesting.
I mean, I think I can
agree.
Have more empathy with the monster. I think with Dr. Frankie, it's like you had the best of circumstances, a reasonably intelligent mind, you had friends, and you just chose to do something horrific with all your potential. Now, poor Frankenstein's monster over here, monster guy, and we'll get into it more in the plot, but he ends up learning language and becoming really eloquent, and he's really just trying to do his damnedest. Like, he's trying to do his best, but because he's so terrifying to look at, it's not working out for him. He's still like getting chased out of everywhere. So he gives the people who treat him horribly so many chances to accept him before he's like, fine, I'm just going to become the villain. I am the villain. It's like the Mother Gothel line.
Now I'm the bad guy. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Make me your villain. They did.
He did.
Yep.
Yeah. And well, I mean, we'll get to that, but yeah, agreed. I'm like, I don't know. And also
it's not acceptable, but you can have empathy for it. Whereas Dr. Frankie was unacceptable and I have no empathy.
Yeah. I think it's because I hate Frankenstein so much that I like the monster. Like maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't know why.
I have a limited amount of hate. I have to dole it out.
I can't hate both of them. I have to pick a side.
What's weird is that I feel like, sorry, this is another thing, but I feel like the voices are different. Obviously, authors. I've never written a fiction story. I mean, I guess I have, but I don't like.
Like a liar.
I have, but I don't like it. I like nonfiction better. But I know that when you write a thing, your characters have different voices. So you write as if they are speaking in different ways because their brains are different. But I liked the way the monster spoke and thought better than Dr. Frankenstein. And so I would skip everything Dr. Frankenstein was saying. Most of the time I was like, I don't care. Get on with it, please.
Yeah, or like get to the part where you made the monster, screwed everything up, and how are we gonna fix it? That's
every single time he was like upset, fell asleep, was fine. Upset, fell asleep, was fine. Over and over. It was like 10 times. I'm just like, okay, I get it. Like, you like nature, shut up.
You like naps. He did. He took a lot of naps. Pity naps, honestly.
Which I guess.
Yeah.
But like,
they were like self-pity naps. It
was
like,
that's the thing that bothers me so much is that he is so like, oh, poor me. And I'm like, maybe you could have like done anything, instead of just feeling bad for yourself for something you did.
Yeah. And also like he does this later when, I mean, spoiler, not spoiler, the Frankenstein's monster kills people. And there are a couple of those deaths, like Frankenstein could have he either could have prevented or prevented other people from being held responsible for it. And prevented other innocent deaths, and he didn't. And he's like, "Oh my god, it's all the monster's fault." And I'm like, "Bro,
guy.
He really is.
He's so selfish."
Yes.
Okay, I'm so glad we're all ragging on him. So then
we all hate Frankenstein.
Yeah. So when he comes back out, he's like, "Oh god." No, he leaves the house anyway, and then his friend Henry is around, and Henry's like, "Let me come see your apartment." And Frankenstein's like, "Oh, okay." So he goes back up, the monster's gone, and he's like, "Oh, thank God."
He's like, "That worked out well for me. Moving on with my life."
Awesome.
Yes, nothing ever happened.
Yep, I never did that.
Nope.
So then he's hanging out with Henry for a while. Then he ends up getting sick
Yeah.
And he gets a letter though later that his little brother has been murdered. And so he's like, oh my God, what the hell? He
Oh, that's
goes
so
to his
upsetting.
family's house, and they're like, yep, little William was murdered. He was like a child, and they're like, we think it was this lady who lives in the house, but she's like their family friend or something. Justine, yeah.
And
And
who hasn't done anything wrong
has
ever,
done nothing
Ever in her
wrong.
whole life.
Yeah.
Ever.
And Frankenstein was like, oh my God, because he went into the woods and saw the monster. And he's like, it was not Justine, it was totally the monster. And so Justine goes to like court for it because they found evidence that she'd committed the crime. But Frankenstein the whole time is like, well, I know it wasn't her. I know for a fact it wasn't her, but I can't say anything or people will think I'm crazy. So he says nothing.
Yeah. He's like, better that a woman dies innocently than anyone think I'm crazy.
This whole time though, he doesn't even think like, oh, she might die. It's always like, oh, it'll work out. Like somehow it'll be fine.
It's so
like,
weird. This man is like really intelligent in like exactly one way and really stupid in literally every other way.
The one way is creating atrocities.
He has one talent. His resume is one skill.
Bringing inanimate flesh back to life.
Reanimating dead things. Yeah.
So Justine gets sentenced to death and dies. And Frankenstein and Elizabeth are like, oh, we're so sad. That's so sad. And he's like, oh, I hate the monster even more than I did when I just thought he was ugly. How dare he be a murderer too? I know I've left him alone for years at this point, but oh, well,
it's his fault.
It's completely his fault. And so he kind of feels bad, but he's also like, well, I guess I'll just keep moving on. And so then
he spends a lot of time just focused on like, how can I be happy again? And I'm like, this is not about you, sir. You have forfeited that right.
Like I get there are things I've done where I'm like, I feel guilty about it. I don't want people to know about it. I'm like dodgy about it, but it's never this, like not to this extent.
Oh no,
you know,
you've never reanimated the combined flesh of dead beings. And
I mean, if I did, I wouldn't tell you is the thing. This book told me that. Don't tell anybody about
That's
it.
That's what we learned from
That's
this
a lesson
book.
learned.
Yeah.
Oh God. And so I don't remember, there's stuff that happens in between, but basically then he ends up meeting the monster out like in the wilderness, and the monster is like, or I think they call him the creature, but I'm gonna call him the monster. He's like, hey,
hey dad,
anything to say to me?
Dad, like, father.
And Frankenstein's like, you are literally the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life, and I hate you. And the monster is like, well, that's interesting because I have shit to say to you. And so he kind of like sits him down and basically tells the story about like what he's been up to for the last
like 3 or 4
years.
chapters. And I'm like, this is so much better than your life, Frankenstein.
I was getting really
so excited the whole time the monster was speaking. I was so happy. I was like, this is interesting. You're a good storyteller.
Exactly. I was like, Frank, you're fired. And the monster gets to tell the story from here on out.
Correct.
I'm the captain now. And so he basically, what happened is the monster, after he, came to life, he was very confused, didn't know how, like, he was basically like, had never used his senses before. So he's trying to figure stuff out. Yeah, he's like just a little baby. So he's wandering around. He kind of figures out how to function, and then he got like run out of this guy's house because everyone's like, he's disgusting looking and terrifying.
That was so sad.
It was really sad. So he figures out pretty quickly like not to kind of let people see him, and he ends up nearby this cottage, and he kind of finds like a nice little hiding spot next to this cottage. And the people in the cottage are Agatha and Felix and the dad. And so they're like, I don't know how old the kids are. Felix is probably like in his 20s. And so they're all hanging out, and they're kind of sad and poor, but not Frankenstein. Oh, that was a faux pas. But the monster
who has no name, which was annoying. I was like, really? Like we couldn't.
I wish he would
I
have
get
named
it.
himself.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe he
himself.
should. Exactly.
What do we think his name would have been?
Harold.
Steven. I don't know.
Steven. That's not
Harold.
good enough. I'm gonna look up some of the authors. Milton? Would he name himself Milton? Because he
yeah, Paradise Lost.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I love it. I think his
cute.
name should be Milton. That's
cute.
really good, Lexi.
That is good.
So
Our boy Milt.
our boy
Milton.
Milt, he's hanging out, and by watching the people in the cottage, he kind of like learns how to talk and like all of that,
How to read.
how to read, and Felix's girlfriend shows up, and then they're like teaching her stuff like geography and reading and all of that, so that like helps from the
found
monster.
them at a really good time.
Yeah, he did. It was
and
ideal.
yeah, so he's just like really picking stuff up,
and he's been like helping them with chores. It's been so sweet.
He's
and like
so
the whole time they don't
they don't know.
try to search out who's making like doing all this stuff for them. They're just like,
it's
oh,
like
that's
my
cool.
husband with his laundry. He's like, oh my God, clean laundry? Where did this come from? It must have been magic.
It was the cats.
It was the cats, yeah.
Somebody did that. So yeah, so he's being very sweet and just kind of like, he's giving me a Boo Radley vibe where he's just kind of like hanging out and being nice, but nobody knows what he looks like or where he is, and everyone's scared of him if they see him. So he's hanging out, and then the whole crazy story of like what was going on with them is wild. There was like this whole thing in Paris, and then
Mary Shelley was like,
France.
Worry not, every character has a very deeply layered background.
I know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I mean, I'm invested. So I mean, because the monster is invested now too. He wants to be their friends and stuff. And so finally he kind of builds up the courage because the old man is blind. So he's like, okay, everyone thinks I'm horrible to look at, but maybe I can become friends with him first, and then he'll kind of like me, and then everyone else will have to like me, which is so sad.
This is really so heartbreaking.
So sad.
It's really sad. So
you really forget that that Milton just killed a little kid when you read this part.
Honestly,
that's right. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't done that yet.
He hasn't done it yet. I know. But when you're hearing him tell the story, you just completely forget that just happened. And you're like, oh my God, Milton, I'd die for you. This is so sad.
Ooh, I might literally die if I met you. You might murder me.
I would literally die
at your hands.
At your hand, yeah.
So our boy Milt goes to the house, and he is talking to the dad and everything, and he's kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of nervous because I have some friends that I want to go visit, but they might not like me, and I don't know what to do. And the dad is like, oh, I'm sure they'll be fine. And then he's like, I am lying, you are my friends and I want to be friends with you. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? And as soon as he says that, Felix and Safi and Agatha come in, and they're all like, what the hell is going on?
Freak out and chase him off.
Flip out. Yeah, Felix beats him up. And then the monster runs back to his hiding place, and he's like, okay, that didn't work, but maybe I can try again. He goes back the next day, and everyone is leaving because they're like, we cannot stay here anymore. There's a monster nearby.
It is so upsetting.
And he's like, okay. And then he sets the house on fire, and then he leaves.
This is his turning point, I think.
Villain origin story.
It kind of is.
This is it.
Because after this, he had already kind of figured out who had made him, because he can read now, and he had all these old papers from the house. And so he knows that his creator's name is Frankenstein. So he ends up he's going towards Geneva, and when he gets there, he runs into William, who is a little boy, obviously. And so he doesn't know who he is yet, and so he's thinking, oh my God, a young person I can kind of take under my wing, and then they'll have to love me, and we can just hang out, and I can basically make them be my friend. Yeah. And so he tries it, but William is like, you disgusting, you are a dead guy. And the monster is
Can you blame him?
Okay, I guess I have to murder you now, because also, you said your dad is Frankenstein.
Or your older brother.
Have beef with the Frankenstein. Yeah, but he said so
that's not what he said.
Well, because his dad is also a Frankenstein. Anyway.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
So
I forget how last names work, you know.
It doesn't even sound like a last name because it's
Yeah.
just like a word to me now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Frankenstein's first name is Victor, but
Yeah, it's
we
Victor.
pretty much never call him Victor.
In the movie,
Vicky
it's
Vic.
Henry, which is very stupid.
Really?
Which
Yes.
is very stupid.
And there's
That's
another
a-
character named Victor. And it doesn't.
So
it's like they didn't
whoever wrote the movie had not read the book.
None of it was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not seen it. Now I kind of
Oh,
want to
God.
see it though.
It's those Universal
Is it the one with
horror
Gene
movies.
Wilder,
Yeah.
or is that one like a
That
parody?
one's the spoofy, and
The
it's
spoofy
spoofing the
Young
movie.
Frankenstein.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one is actually pretty funny. Young
But
Frankenstein.
yeah, I don't think I've ever been able to finish that movie.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I want to, but I
I've seen
haven't.
parts of it.
It's not like amazing, but it's, if you guys don't like scary movies really, or classic horror movies, but you want to laugh, like it's not a bad option. It's definitely not appropriate for children, so do not watch it with children.
My boss actually told me today that I should watch it. And I was like, I
pretty
know, but I
funny.
haven't seen all of it.
I've
don't know why I
weirdly
haven't
seen
been
it a
able to
few
finish it.
times. I've never sat down intending to watch it, but people have watched it around me multiple times, so I have ended up seeing it. It's pretty funny.
I think I've just seen the beginning like half, like 3 times, and I'm like, okay, I'm
Oh,
out.
yeah.
I
He's
gotta
got
stop.
Gene Wilder, and he's really
I love
good,
him.
So
He's great.
yeah.
He's great. So anyway, he ends up killing William.
Mhm.
And then he takes the little necklace that William was wearing that has like, which was the evidence that was planted on Justine. And
Yeah.
he plants it on Justine.
Yeah.
And because he's like, well, now I'm just going to be evil now. So he
Yep.
does that. And then they both die, which we all know that that's how that happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, then basically that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
And so back to Vic, who's here in the story, he's like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life, and I still hate you. And the monster is like, well, here's what you're gonna do for me, buddy. You're gonna make me a girlfriend so that I can have somebody to hang out with.
Yep.
And you're gonna do it, or I'm gonna keep murdering all your friends. And he's like, okay. So he's
like,
says
damn
he'll
it.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
slippery slope, reanimating the dead.
Yikes.
it really is. I mean, it's hard to turn that off.
Yeah.
Vic goes off to do that, and he gets like this little house in Scotland in the middle of nowhere.
Mhm.
And he knows though that the monster's been following him.
He's
because of
also
course
like
he is.
engaged now to his pseudo sister.
Right. Yeah, they like wrote, and his
Gross.
dad was like, so are you like really gonna marry her, or like we're just kind of waiting for you to marry her? And
Yeah.
and he's
Is that
like, yeah, I'll
happening, or-
marry her. And Elizabeth's like, okay, cool, just let me know. So
It's really romantic.
yeah, what are you doing? He's always away.
Yeah.
And so his whole family's like, maybe he has like a girlfriend, and it's like, no, he's just being haunted by the reanimated
monster he
corpse that he created.
So awful.
No
Oh,
worries.
God.
And so in his little weird hovel in Scotland, he's like making the Frankenstein girlfriend,
Mhm.
or God, the monster girlfriend, and
Oh,
Milton.
yeah. And but then after a while, he's like, actually, this is like the worst thing I could possibly do, and I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. I have
What?
a thing at this
Mhm.
point, because he's like, what if they make little devils? And I was like, first of all, did you give that man a penis? Because that's gross. Second
It's
of
like
all,
only you would know if they can.
Right. yeah. Second of all, if he does whatever, if he has a penis, whatever, you did a weird thing. But this girlfriend, you could just make it so that she doesn't. I don't know. This is. I mean, if you're gonna be
Have a
awful, just make it so
uterus?
she can't have kids. I don't know. Like,
He's
Yeah.
like he is the
Tire
god
tubes,
of these,
you know.
yeah, creations. He
if you're
could
gonna act
literally
like
do
God, go for it. I guess. Like, really
But
go
this
all
shows
in.
it.
you-
Might as
I-
well.
He is what is this? The 1800s. So he's like a 19th century man.
Maybe he doesn't know anything about
So
it.
he
That's a good
doesn't know
point.
anything about women. He's like, having the baby is all completely up to the man. The woman's body plays no part. Oh no, I've already created the man with the penis. Now there will be children. There's nothing.
guess-
A woman plays no part except for to push the baby out.
There is a part where he's like, man, I have to do so much more research now. And I was like, why do you have to do more research? And then I realized, is it because you've never like studied the female body?
Yes.
You've only
I had
Without
the
a
exact
doubt.
same moment where I was like, he has to go on like this 6-month like research quest now. And I was like, why? You don't know anything about the human body?
Yeah.
this doctor who is reanimating the dead supposedly knows the human body so well he can reanimate dead pieces of the human body, knows nothing about the female body. I was like, you're not allowed to get married, sir.
That's so funny. I had the exact same thoughts. I'm just like, wait, I don't understand why you're doing this. What? No.
It's so upsetting.
He's like, listen, if a woman is sick, just put leeches on her. I don't know. Like,
lock her in her bedroom.
Lock her,
you know,
she's
probably hysterical. So.
Yeah.
If she just had a baby, lock her away.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I'm a doctor. I would know.
It's
guys.
okay.
God.
Someone's gonna write a really good short story about it later. It'll
really,
work out.
Really terrifyingly haunting one.
So good.
Now I'm really
My
convinced
favorite.
that this guy is based off Dr. John Polidori.
I think
Because
you're
you
right.
know, Mary Shelley's like, this man knows absolutely nothing.
Maybe that was like a thing. Like they heard, she said she's like looking directly at the doctor this whole time is what I'm thinking. She doesn't look away from his eyes once. And when she's like, and he has to go study for a million years because he doesn't know what women look like. And he's just like, darn it, I don't know either.
Like, if you think that's a turnoff for her,
Is she talking
Oh, no.
about me?
About me?
Is
I mean, because I don't know anything about women. Oh, God. That's really funny.
That's really good, y'all.
God, we're so funny. How do we do it?
God, we're so hilarious. So he decides not to make monster girlfriend. The monster shows up and he's like, why are you not making monster girlfriend? And he's like, because I don't want to anymore. And I don't really care what you think. And the monster's like, okay, great. Well, just watch out when you get married. And then leaves.
He says, see you on your wedding night. And he doesn't think, wow, he's killed all these people I love. He might kill my wife. He thinks he's going to kill me and I'm going to have to be ready. And it's like, what? No, he's never tried to kill you before.
Has he ever tried to kill you? No, he's
your
trying to kill your
friends and
loved
family.
ones. Oh
I
my
don't.
God.
So stupid and so selfish.
He's
Because after this, he's like, okay, yeah, guess I'm getting married.
He
I'm
is
like,
the worst main
are you
character
are you
ever. I have never
kidding?
so been unable to support a main character.
I've never rooted so much for a main character to die.
Is there even a protagonist? Is there even a main protagonist in this? Because they're all antagonists. Like the monster, Milton, is briefly a protagonist, and then he's back to being an antagonist. Is there even a protagonist?
Well, I guess like
The guy writing the
I guess
letters to his
Frankenstein
sister's
is.
not that bad.
I mean, he's an unlikable protagonist, but he is like not him, but like Frankenstein. You know, he is technically
Frankenstein is, but he's also the antagonist. Like he's creating all the problems.
that's true.
I'm never
I don't-
at any point rooting for him.
No,
Never,
you're not.
Not even once. But even when you have an unlikable protagonist, like usually there's like some antagonistic force that they're fighting. He is the antagonist. He, I guess, is both the
He's literally
protagonist.
Fighting
fighting
himself.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
I-
He's crazy.
I want to call him an anti-hero just so that I can talk about that song that Taylor Swift just recently
It's
released because
me,
it's like
hi.
on trend.
We have got to make a TikTok. Oh my god.
so
God.
cute.
See, no, I'm
Frankenstein
so out of the
anti-hero
loop, you guys.
He'd rather look
I'll
at the
do it.
sun than ever in the mirror. You know,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
that's a quote.
Oh
from it.
my god, Lexi, you're right. That song was literally written about Dr. Victor Frankenstein.
Wait,
I'm
what was
screaming.
this song called? I have
I think
to
it's
write it
well, and there's
down.
a part of it.
It's called Antihero.
Anti-hero. I'm
There's
so
a
out
part
of
of
the
it
loop.
that's about the monster, about Milton, because she says something like, "To me, everybody's sexy babies, and I'm just a monster on the hill."
Oh my god, you're right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Did she read this book and then write that?
Taylor, we're on to you, girl. Okay, girly, we see you. So-
All right, so now we do have to have a TikTok, even though I haven't listened to the song. So someone's making a
very-
TikTok.
I
It's
will
pretty
do
good.
it. I want to do it. I
Okay,
will
you
make
can do it.
Okay.
I'm
fine.
gonna
Sorry,
hold
Lexi,
you to
can we
that.
steal your idea? I'll credit
Oh, that's
you.
okay. If you,
Okay.
I have never made a TikTok before, but if you ever want me singing, lip syncing anything, let me know.
You got
This is
it.
fun.
Oh, yes.
You're on speed dial.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
So yeah, so he's going to get married to Elizabeth, and wouldn't you know it, she gets murdered on their
What
wedding
a
night.
shock. I mean,
Who would have
He's
seen
so
that coming?
stupid.
Literally
What an
nobody.
idiot.
And by
Ugh.
nobody I mean everybody.
literally
he
everybody
was-
but but Vicky.
So stupid.
I don't understand, because even like going into it, he's like, we're gonna have an awful life. We might not have a good time. Like, but I can't tell you why until after we're married. And it's like, what do you think is going to happen tonight? Do you think you're gonna overpower him? I don't think so. I don't know.
He's so crazy. He's like, I have a gun, so I'll maybe be fine. And I'm like, sir,
he told you that he got shot, right? Like,
yeah. Did you forget the part where he's already dead?
He already got shot. Yeah, he's already dead. The thing is, he is so selfish. He straight up, just like he could have been like, hi, I know you actually murdered Justine. He could have been like, sorry, Elizabeth, I am in love with you, but I can't marry you because I have to deal with all this stuff right now and it could put you in danger. But he didn't. He was like, I gotta get that sweet Elizabeth sexy going on. And I'm like, sir? Like,
oh my gosh.
And you know what? Screw him. I'm so mad. I hate him so much.
Also, when I studied this book in high school, this is how my teachers were sometimes, where we were studying this book and my teacher, I only remember this part. He said, can you imagine your wedding night? You've been waiting your whole life. And what he meant was, you've been waiting your whole life to have sex.
Yeah.
And you've been waiting your whole life and you come in and your beautiful, beautiful bride is dead. And you'll never have that special thing. And I was like, I wish this was about something else.
Oh my God.
Wow, someone's very repressed.
Yeah.
How
and
about
he was a married man, but I was like,
you love is dead, not like you don't get to use them for sex.
Yeah, I was like,
crazy.
Wait, what?
Oh my God. Is your teacher like Dr. Polidori come back to life?
I think he won Teacher of the Year many times. Like, I liked him as a teacher, but there were, there were definitely things where I was like, you aren't good, right? You're not good.
A couple of moments that gave you pause. Like,
I keep trying to make you like me, but maybe I don't.
Maybe that's better.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Oh, that's funny. That's really good. So our, well, oh my God, I was about to say our boy. I do not claim him.
We don't claim
He is not our boy.
We're not affiliated.
Icky Vicky. He is Icky Vicky.
I've been trying to land on like a really good derisive nickname for him this whole episode.
Icky Vicky's perfect.
Icky Vicky. Yeah.
Perfect.
There's already a theme song from
exactly. Fairly Odd Parents.
Timmy Turner. What's it called?
Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah.
Fairly Odd Parents. So yeah, Icky Vicky goes looking for the monster. Oh, I forgot. The monster already killed his friend Henry.
Oh, that was so sad.
I forgot about that. That was really bad. And so
he's tried.
Vicky almost went to jail for that because they thought it was him. Yeah, that one made me sad, honestly.
I forgot about that. It really caught me off guard.
That was a good twist, Mary. I was like, what? Oh my God, the dead guy is Henry.
It was sad because he was like, I'm giving this, he like wrote a poem for Henry and he was like, it's because he's no longer with us or whatever. And I was like, I don't remember Henry dying. Is that just like an aside, like he died of cancer or something? And then I was like, oh no, there's a dead man. Oh no, is it him?
So upsetting. Everybody that deserved to live died, and then Icky Vicky's just living on his happy old life. I mean, he's not happy. He's like, boo-hoo, I'm sad. And I'm like, you deserve to be sad, sir.
You did
a bad thing.
You did all of it. Yeah. So yeah, poor Henry's dead, and now Elizabeth's dead. So that is like 4 people now that the monster has killed. And so this is my favorite part of the whole book, you guys. The part when Icky Vicky like goes out into the wilderness basically, and he's like, I call on you, spirits of the dead, help me kill this monster. And then the monster shows up and he's like, come and catch me, bitch. That was the best part of the whole book. I was like loving it. It was so dramatic.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that might have been one of the things that I skipped because I hated hearing him talk. But if you tell me the page, I'll find it.
On mine, it's 187. I was like loving it.
I really like your retelling of the moment.
Me too.
I think that was better.
So from then on, they just go on this like months-long chase basically, and the monster is going around, and Vicky's trying to catch him, and they're both. I mean, Victor's like killing himself basically doing this, but he's like,
Yeah.
I am going to hunt you to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
And but the monster is like superhuman and can do anything, so it's not really
Like
working
maybe
out.
he should have just like tossed a ball with his weird monster son, said, "Hey kid, I approve of you. You look totally fine. Don't
Just
worry, you'll find
anything.
love." How about
Absolutely
anything but what
anything.
he did?
Yeah.
And this wouldn't have happened.
Many other options than what he did.
So many things so much easier than this. Like
Yeah, he like could not get over the fact that he was ugly. The monster would be like, hey, can we hang out? And he'd be like, you're just so
hate looking at you.
disgusting. Yeah,
So sad.
literally, it's so horrible.
ugh.
And so then we get caught up to like kind of the end of our frame story, where back to
Mhm.
Walton, and Victor is like, so anyway, that's what's brought me here. That's where you guys found me. And Walton's like, that is a lot to take in, but I love you, bestie. I've already decided we're besties based on basically nothing, because I did not know you before you started
Wait,
telling
is
the
Walton
story.
like Percy?
Percy.
Percy
Well,
Shelley?
Oh,
it's
Percy
funny because
Shelley.
Walton keeps talking about how much he wants a friend, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he is.
And he's depressed.
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
you guys are right.
I'm
Okay.
thinking that he's Percy Shelley.
He totally
good.
is.
It's really good.
Mhm.
So Walton writes like, oh yeah, so then all of the people on Walton's ship, they're like, hey, we don't want to keep doing this, we're gonna like go. And Victor's like wants him to keep going so he can find Frankenstein. And he's like, are you guys all cowards or what? Like, you guys are all wusses and you should be ashamed of yourselves, and we're gonna keep going into this frozen wasteland, or
Which is
else
so
you're a
dumb.
loser.
Because at the
Yeah.
beginning of his story, he's like, I don't want you to end up like me. You seem like an ambitious guy. Don't kill yourself over it. And then this part, he's like, no, we're dying. We're
We're all
dying, or
dying.
we're not going back.
We're all dying together.
It's like he like built it back up his craziness
He's
after
like,
telling the story.
you know what? Actually, I am still mad.
He's very
Yes,
duplicitous.
yeah.
Because then I think
yeah.
again, he's like, no, it's fine. You don't go back. I mean, go back. Don't stay. Don't do it. And he's just like,
Cannot
whatever, dude.
figure it out. And he's at the end of his life. He's
Yeah.
probably going crazy. So he's
Yes.
like, yeah, so he's dying, and Walton is like, oh my god, sorry, dude.
I just like that in Walton's letters to his sister, which is how we're getting the story. He's like, oh, so all that's been going on with Frankenstein. Oh, and by the way, my crew is about to mutiny, so that's also kind of happening. And I was like, what?
Like, worry about that, Walton. This
Not as
you
important.
don't know this guy. Like,
Yeah, Vicky's story is not that important. It can wait. I
My
promise.
only friend is dying.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, Walton, maybe there's something weird about him. Why does nobody want to be his friend? So
Aw.
so anyway, Vicky's dying, and he dies. And then who shows up? The monster, who's been creeping around the
Mhm.
whole time, I guess. And he
Yeah.
shows up, and he's like looking at Vicky's dead body, and he's like, wow, well, he's dead.
Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck.
Hi, Dad.
You know, yeah, all right, I guess I'm gonna go out into the wilderness and die.
Well done.
Nice to meet you. I'm the monster. Good to see
I'm
you.
Milton.
And I'm Milton. And yeah, and Walton is like, okay. And then the last we see of him, he's riding off into the snowy, barren wasteland to die. And but you know what? He lives longer than Frankie did. So
Yeah.
So he
Yeah, what a
won.
book. Yeah, he won.
book.
I
That
agree.
is quite a book.
Yeah.
I do have to
Icky
say
Vicky
so myself.
finally lost, but he's the only one who really deserved to lose. A bunch of other people also lost in the process who had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, it's true.
My God.
I like how many lessons there are in this. Like the
Oh
whole
my
time I
God.
was like, interesting. There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
With Dracula, I was like, so that was fun.
Dracula's a little more pulpy than this one.
Right.
Like this has some
It is, yeah.
themes going.
Yeah.
Dracula's like,
Yeah.
what if a cowboy had to shoot a vampire?
right.
That'd be kind of fun, right?
yes. Yes, it is. It
That
would
is
be
kind of fun. You're right, Bram.
I loved it.
But
Oh
yeah,
my
you're right.
God.
There's a lot to unpack here. Like I was thinking, I love it. Like the end, it's almost like Frankenstein's monster is more of a complete character in person than Frankenstein is, because he
Yeah.
actually like has some remorse for like killing people, and he like understands things on a more fundamental level than Frankenstein does, who's
Yeah.
literally his such a one-track mind, and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel so bad for me. And Frankenstein's monster is like, I know I've murdered some people, but I do have the capacity to think about other people. I consciously chose to be evil. So
yeah.
and I'm like, yeah,
Not
that's
like
true.
Vicky, who thinks that he's good and is actually a monster. I think that's what it is. I think there's something about, and this is something I think about when it comes to like narcissistic personalities and like especially narcissistic personality disorder. There's this weird thing where like, if you're if you're a decent person and you look in the mirror and you see a monster, like, to be honest, that's kind of, even if you think that you're a bad person, that's a little bit, at least, you're probably not clinically narcissistic, right? If you're clinically narcissistic, then from the outside or people that you've hurt are going to be like, you're not that good of a dude, man. But like, you're going to look at yourself and be like, I'm excellent. Everyone else just doesn't understand me. Everything that's bad is happening to me and I've done nothing to deserve it.
Yeah.
So, and that's very much, I feel like Vicky's definitely a narcissist just based on how he cannot grasp anything that has like, that's going on to anybody else. He's like, everything bad happens to me. I hate my life.
It's so true. He's totally a narcissist.
And the monster's like, I know I'm disgusting. I know I've murdered. I've done bad things. I'm just also miserable. I could be good. I'm going to choose to be evil. And like, the fact that there's a decision there proves that I don't think the monster's narcissistic. He's many other bad things instead, but he's not as bad as Vicky.
He's traumatized.
Yeah, he's traumatized. God, Vicky had absolutely no reason to be the way he was.
No,
like, nothing.
He didn't.
It's almost like they were trying to say that he was sheltered. Like, he found these books and his dad was like, those are weird. Don't read those. And he was like, oh, I guess, no, you're wrong. They're not weird. I'm going to keep reading them. And then even when he went to school, he was like, this ugly professor says I'm stupid, so I'm not going to believe him. But this like not so ugly, kind of old, but not ugly professor is like, keep going, but also read these. And he's like, yeah, okay, sure. You're not ugly. So, okay. Yeah. Got it.
I'm going to make this my entire personality.
So
You're
weird.
Right.
That is so
funny.
weird.
Weird.
Well, what about
he's
favorite
messed
and least favorite parts?
Lexi, you want to go?
I feel like my least favorite part is the fact that we don't know what happens to Ernest. That really bothers me.
Yeah, because the dad dies too. Oh my God, you're right.
So I'm like, so you're just going off to kill this guy, but everyone he's ever known is dead. Like, I don't know how old Ernest is at that point. He might be an adult. I don't know, but I did look it up, and I guess someone wrote a book about Ernest.
No way.
I kind of want to read it. I don't know.
Yes.
Sure. Oh, you should do it.
I'm not a big spin-off guy or like whatever. Like, when people write books about just Darcy, I'm like, sorry. But
it's true.
But I don't know. I might look into it. Anyway, I was just very sad about that. I was like, why are we just not going to talk about him ever?
Wow.
Everyone else had stuff.
Didn't even think about that. So now I feel so bad.
I was like, no, I'm not gonna.
Right. Like, what happened to him?
Mary didn't want you to know about it.
No, Mary was like, okay, it's fine.
I guess he could be the main character in the next book. Like, if she were to write another book, be like, okay, Ernest, it's your time.
Ernest, please do not experiment with reanimating corpses. Please, we're begging
that'd be
you.
nice. Oh my God, we're begging you.
Favorite part? I don't know. I mean, I think the whole time that the monster was learning how to speak was my favorite part.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was my favorite part also.
That part blew by. The rest of it was hard.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Spoons.
Okay, my favorite part was the part I already said where Frankenstein like swore to kill him, and it was so dramatic. It was like the best. I was living for it. And then the monster just being like, ha, 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 I hate you too. And I was like, this is amazing. Least favorite part. God, I don't know. Like, where do I begin with Frankie? I mean, I love the book, but like Frankie was so hard to deal with.
He's that's why this book was so hard to get through, is because like we have the shittiest main character ever.
Just the worst.
Yeah.
I think my least favorite was him being like, I'm gonna marry Elizabeth anyway, and like had no concept of thinking of anyone but himself.
Oh my god,
that made me so mad. He's so stupid.
He is.
He's stupid.
My favorite part was also Lexi's favorite part, with like when he's learning stuff, like the monster is learning kind of like about people, and he's like, wow, to be loved would be nice, and I'm like, oh my god, no, I'm so sorry. And then least favorite part, I mean, this is getting into like least favorite characters, but obviously Vicky. I feel like there's not another choice for like least favorite character. But he is both my least favorite character and my least favorite part. I really, really hated when he just let, what's her name? Janet? No.
Justine.
Right? I was gonna say every J name except for Justine.
Jackie.
When he just let her die and didn't even like say anything, and then he was like, "Woe is me," and I was like, "Bitch, absolutely not."
Insane behavior. Like
so upset. That's my least favorite.
I'm gonna start our wedding day off with a lie and just not telling you anything.
Yeah,
that's what I've been doing for 2 years.
Hey, baby.
Hey, babe. What about least favorite characters? What?
My favorite character, the monster. My least favorite character, Frankie.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It was very clear for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't know. There are so many good characters, like meaning like benevolent characters in this. And I just feel like of them, I really like the old man a lot. And like their whole family situation.
In the
it was
house.
Like, oh my gosh, she wanted to save a man who was just in jail for no good reason. And then you were like, no, I can't marry your daughter, even though I really like her. No, you can't give her to me as a prize. She's a woman. She's not a prize. He doesn't say that, but that's what I'm imagining that he's thinking. And then when like she comes, he's not like, oh my gosh, you're mine. I guess they do say my, but I don't know.
But whatever. Not like that. Yeah,
I like him.
I like him too.
Yeah. Least favorite would be, obviously Vicky.
It's almost like Frankenstein is the real monster. Ooh.
No one's ever said that before. I don't think.
You guys, we're so smart. We're just figuring it out by ourselves.
Why this is that pretentious book club. Come on, wise up, guys.
All right, guys. Okay,
obviously, least favorite is Vicky. Favorite, I don't want to say Milton, the monster, because he is really evil. But he's so interesting, and I like the way that he speaks. Otherwise, I also liked the family in the little house. Like I enjoyed that. I guess what's his name? Walton. That guy, he was kind of interesting, but he's not really a part of the actual story. He's just like delivering it. Right. So I would have liked to know more about him, but I guess I'll say the monster for he's so interesting, and for actual like the good people were like the little family in the house.
Yeah,
it's nice. Yeah,
that's sweet.
What about lessons learned? We've already talked about some of them, but
we really have.
I know there's a lot to break down in this book. Like, let me lead the way with maybe he's not seen other girls. Maybe he's just reanimating the dead in his garage. Have you ever thought about that?
That he's thinking about other girls. How do I create life?
It's so true.
I love that.
Y'all, oh my God. Y'all are gonna make that meme.
So good.
You know what? Looks aren't everything. You know, he has a really good personality, but nobody gave him a chance. So
he really did have a great personality until he turned evil.
Right.
Until
he murdered everyone.
Right. Until he decided to murder people. But
yeah,
up until then, pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. There's
I'm trying to think of a funny tagline.
I mean, seriously,
Really
like
good
I don't
ones.
know how you would put this into a succinct lesson, but it just drives me crazy that all Frankenstein had to do was show any level of love or respect to the monster at all.
Yeah.
And he never did it, even like when he knew that was what he had to do.
He was even
still
like, I bet
didn't
that would
do
fix
it.
things and didn't. Yeah. We've said this before, but like, here's a good lesson. Like, just don't be a really shitty parent. Like,
Yeah,
it's not that hard. Also, I know people are like, parenting's the hardest job you'll ever love. Yeah, to be like a really great parent probably is the hardest job you'll ever love. But like, to be a decent parent who doesn't horribly traumatize your kid, it's not that freaking hard. Just do it. They didn't ask to be here. Like, the monster did not ask to get created. Your kid did not ask to be here. The least you can do is, give them a decent life, give them the tools they need to not be horribly traumatized.
Give
Rule
them a
number
shot.
1. Yeah, don't run away from them as soon as they're born. That's a
Rule
big,
number one,
that's a
don't
big one.
shriek, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's so gross, and run off.
I would say, yeah, that would be a pretty big bummer for me if I was the kid. It's like, all right,
Yeah,
get some
yeah.
done.
Take responsibility for yourself and your creations, whether it's a human child or whether it's just something you've done. Take responsibility.
Take responsibility. That's the way to say it. Yeah, good one.
Maybe think ahead a little bit before you
Oh my God,
do
like maybe just like
anything, but like especially if you like reanimate a corpse, you should think about like before
Think
you
about,
do
like-
it, think about what's going to happen.
Yeah, like the
Right.
0.2 seconds after it comes to
Right.
life, feel like
Right.
what's going to happen in that 0.2 seconds. And then
If you already did that, think about like
Yeah.
maybe not getting married until you figured it out.
Yeah. Maybe-
Yeah, planning ahead is important.
Exactly.
Right.
Maybe if you don't understand female anatomy about as well as male anatomy, maybe you should not get your doctorate degree. I feel like you shouldn't get to have it.
Maybe we should just take that away real quick.
Yeah, just real quick until you go and do your other 6 months of study like a
You
Vicky
need-
boy on the female body.
Also, just because you can do something doesn't mean
Doesn't
you
mean you
should.
should.
Mhm.
This is a conversation I have with Javi all the time, because he'll be like, I'm gonna do something crazy, like for example, like light a car on fire, and I'm like, don't do that, and he's like, why? I can do it. And I'm like, yeah, it's not about can. I'm not telling you that you can't. I'm saying that you shouldn't. It's different. And he's like, ugh, I hate that.
You can
Listen.
physically do many things.
Yeah,
You shouldn't
exactly.
do a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm like, you're allowed to. So that's the thing. So he'll always be like, are you telling me what to do? And I'm like, no, you're allowed to do whatever you want. You're a grown man. It doesn't mean it's a good idea. So
Impulsivity is a bitch,
yeah, it really
sometimes
is.
you really feel like doing it. The thing about Vicky is
It wasn't
he was
impulsive.
impulsive.
It took years of his
Yes.
life.
there was a lot of
Yes.
planning involved.
It was an every single day
Oh, he'd be so
like
stupid.
grueling. Like there was never a moment of like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I don't want to do this anymore.
No.
Like it was like, I guess I'm gonna be tired forever now
Yeah.
until this is done. Because then once I create
God.
life, I can just leave it alone, I guess.
And then just take a bunch of naps.
yeah,
Yeah. Catch
fall
up.
asleep in the grass. Be
Yeah.
upset.
Mhm.
Wake up. Oh my gosh, the sky. Wow, I didn't create anything
Wow.
bad. I love the sky. Oh my gosh, the giant man coming towards me. I made that. Darn it.
Aw,
It wasn't
dang.
all a dream. The last several years of my life weren't a dream after all. Oh no. That's funny.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I guess the only good lesson we can maybe learn from Vicky is sometimes you do need to take a nap. I think he
That's
took
true.
maybe
That's
too
true.
many. Which maybe there's an alternate lesson on the same level there, as there's such thing as too many naps.
Mhm.
Like when you're like really depressed, sometimes you're just getting out of bed and making yourself eat like some dry cereal with no milk in it. Like it's sad, but you know what? Maybe that's what you need instead of staying in bed. I
Just
think
really ask yourself why you're taking
Really-
so many naps.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If it's
Do
just
some
because you're
soul searching.
tired, then you know what? You enjoy that nap. You deserve it. No, I saw something today, and this is like an actual thing. That's like an actual real lesson. Let me find it real quick. That Bobby just sent me a picture from Disney Dreamlight Valley, like a selfie from his character with Moana, and even his character's going like this like
That's amazing.
stupid like frat boy pose, and I was like, how did you even do that? It's so stupid. Anyway, somebody posted this thing that said, I don't know who needs to hear this, but rest is not a reward. You don't have to earn rest. You need rest. You deserve rest. If anyone doesn't deserve rest, it's Vicky Boy, but no one's as bad as Vicky. So, and he still took a bunch of naps. So go take a nap.
Thought he deserves naps. Yeah. Exactly. Go take a nap, you guys.
Go take a nap, guys.
It's a good point.
It's okay. Yeah. So.
Juicy is being so cute. She's sitting on top of my Frankenstein and like cuddling it.
She's like, I love dead things.
You should take a picture of it.
I'm gonna need that for my quote, Juicy.
Oh no.
She's like, I wonder what you look like dead. Juicy is so scary to me.
She's terrifying. I love her.
Yeah,
she's scary.
Hey, scary little girl.
Scary. She's so cute.
She
has no tail.
I think she's just extremely chaotic.
Yeah, and violent, and like, but she's really sweet for like a second, and then she'll turn on you. And you like some cats, you can tell that they're gonna turn on you. With Juicy, I love her with all of my heart, but I've never been able to tell when she's going to turn on me. So she's gotten me. Every time she's tried to swipe me, she's gotten me. Because you can't tell. It's at the blue.
She's gotten a lot better though. She was kind of a chaotic, like violent kitten. And now she's kind of, coming into her own a little bit, settling into life.
That's nice. Right, I still call her Jucifer because I feel like
Jucifer.
It's her. She'll never live that down.
No, she'll never live it down. But I love it. She
doesn't have a tail though. Oh
no,
isn't it
my friends has a cat without a tail. When she wags, is it like a funny little stump? Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's so cute.
I love it. It's like also pretending that Jucifer is still completely chaotic makes me feel better about Flora, our supreme leader, because she is still daily ruining my life, finding ways. So
no. Flora, no.
Yeah, I was in a big meeting at work and she jumped up and unplugged my monitor. I was like, how did you my monitor? I was like, bro,
stop working. That's impressive. Pay attention to me.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Anyways, we didn't do first impressions, which is a new segment we're doing. But that's first impressions was the first time you saw this book or heard of this book. What did you think about it?
I mean, I think I thought it was going to be like green monster, afraid of fire, pitchforks. Yeah. But I was in high school, so I'm assuming that's what it was. Where I was like, oh yeah, it's alive,
It's alive.
It's alive. Yeah, same. Because like you kind of can't escape knowing what Frankenstein is. Like it's just part of culture. So
I think that movie came out like 100 years ago.
Yeah, it's like old. So the movie definitely has kind of
could that be right?
Colored everything.
I was like, could it really in 1922?
Look it up.
There were
probably a little later than that, but
it's definitely later than that.
Yeah, but weren't there films in 1922? Silent films? No.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Whoopsie daisies.
Anyways, what was I going to say? I think my first
31.
31 almost.
Ooh.
Got it.
So almost, yeah. Whoa,
that's crazy.
It's old. Note. My first impression was gross. This is not my kind of book because I don't like monster stories or horror stories or spooky
classics
or classics. So I think I've actually been given this as my first impression before, and we just started doing it. It's not the first time I've looked at a classic and gone, that's not for me. Absolutely not. So that was my first impression of this was absolutely not. And also I thought it was about like, like green Frankenstein monster, pitchforks. And I was like, gross, it's a dead body. I'm not about that life. I'm relieved that it wasn't half as bad as I had thought it always would be. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Yay.
Not a lose. What about favorite
I love
quotes?
all the things that you said you don't like. I love spooky monster classic books.
I don't. I wish I like spooky. I don't like monsters. And it's not that I dislike classics. It's that I dislike using my brain. It's really hard. And I have to do that with classics. And so I'm like, no, my brain's too tired for that. Of course, I don't get a break with the podcast, which is good.
The thing is that when I have ADHD. I haven't taken Adderall in like a few months. And I took it today because I was slogging through this book. And I was like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I can read this. So
oh my God, that's
amazing.
Crazy what taking your medicine will do.
Because I haven't read anything in months because I'm just like, so hard to
It is hard. Okay, reading is hard. I was in
Reading is hard.
like a meeting at work the other day. They're making us do like it's nice that they're doing these like girl power, like all like the women in the office get on like a Zoom call like twice a month
cute.
now or something. It's very cute. And so they're talking about what they do outside of work. And one girl was like, oh, I read a lot. And everyone was like, oh my God, reading is so hard. Like it really does become hard the older you get.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah.
It's way easier to veg.
Yeah,
it really
so
is
much easier. Anyways,
Are we gonna
favorite
do quote?
Oh, yeah.
I have my quote.
Go for it.
I will read it. Okay, mine is at the part where wait, I think this is right. Yeah, this is after the creature tells Frankie his whole story and stuff, and then he's like, make me a girlfriend. And so he's kind of he's like, make me a girlfriend or I'm gonna go real evil on you. And he's like, and so the monster says, I will revenge my injuries. If I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear, and chiefly towards you, my archenemy, because my creator, do I swear inextinguishable hatred. Have a care. I will work at your destruction, nor finish until I desolate your heart, so that you shall curse the hour of your birth. Oh my gosh. That is
so
badass.
Good. It is easily like the most intimidating. Like I've never believed like a villain character more when they've said something like that. I'm like, oh, he means it. He's serious, Vicky. I don't know if you realize.
It's really
he wasn't
good.
listening. He didn't hear him. He was thinking about something
himself.
else.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Foxy?
That's really good. I love that. That's so scary. He's so scary. I love him. What's weird is that a part that I like, just like as I was reading it, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Just it's more like Shelly. I'm like, wow, Shelly, you're really good. Yeah. Less so Victor, you're really good at thinking. It's on for it's in chapter 10. I know our pages are different, but I don't actually know what he's doing. He's just talking about stuff. He's in nature at this point, and he's thinking about how things change constantly, and like his character is in constant like torment of what he's doing. And then sometimes he's like, oh wait, actually life is cool and worth living, and he's like, no, it's not, and I did something gross and I hate it.
He does flip-flop on that one a lot.
And so this one, it says, we rest, a dream has power to poison sleep. We rise, one wandering thought pollutes the day. We feel, conceive, or reason, laugh or weep, embrace fond woe, or cast our cares away. It is the same, for it be joy or sorrow. The path of its departure still is free. Man's every day may ne'er be like his morrow, never be like his morrow. Not may endure, but mutability. So I ruined it with the near.
So good. I like
it's always weird when they say that.
No, it's really good. And it's so smart that it took like my brain, I was like, ooh, this is good. And then my brain was like, that's too hard, Ash, stop. And so then it tuned out and then it tuned back in and I was like, she missed it. It was
my favorite was we rise, one wandering thought pollutes the day. I'm like, yes.
That's
I
good.
love that. That is so good.
Wish I could put words together like that, you know?
I know.
Too.
Good for Mary.
I'm like, Taylor, I thought I was ugly and now I'm sad all day. And he's like, what? What's happening? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't. And he's like, why you got to put those thoughts away? And I was like, it's there now. I don't know. I'm in a bad mood now.
It's a wandering thought and it's polluted. What am I supposed to do?
Exactly. Now that's how I'll say it. My day is polluted. I would thank you to appreciate it. Right.
Yes.
Thank you, 19-year-old Mary Shelley, for this language.
Oh my God. Seriously. She is.
How does she understand human nature so well?
I know. That's crazy.
She had to sit there and just watch these really annoying men just talk about shit they don't really know anything about. She just observed like humans so much.
In her head, like thinking about writing this.
Yeah, exactly. My quote is, this is one of the monsters quotes. And I will preface this with saying, usually when like a bad guy character says something like, if someone had just been nice to me, I wouldn't have been so evil. I'm always like, whatever. But this is the first time I actually believe someone when they said something like that. I'm like, I actually genuinely believe, which is why it's so sad.
Yeah.
I started my dog bark. That was weird.
I
just heard Caleb go, Brownie.
What's your dog's name?
Brownie. We did not name her. She was named Brownie. She's a brown dog.
She's a baby.
She's so cute. And then we have Winchester, who is a 6-month-old, enormous, fluffy, giant dog who lives
That's
outside.
such a good name too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a cute one. Dog noise. That's nice. Okay. Anyway, so here's the quote. I do know that for the sympathy of one living being, I would make peace with all. I have love in me, the likes of which you can scarcely imagine, and rage the likes of which you would not believe. If I cannot satisfy the one, I will indulge the other.
Yeah,
which I think is really good. I mean, and that's like such a human concept too. There's that, it's that African proverb, which we all probably know after watching Black Panther, about like, what is it? Something like the child who's turned away by the village will return and burn it down to feel its warmth or something like that. It's that like so human concept of like it's going to turn one way or the other. Like we have love or rage. And I don't think that it's like love or hate. I actually don't think there's the most opposite, but I do think that the absence of one causes the other. And so I so believed him. I so believed the monster when he said, if anyone had shown me a drop of love, I would have just been a decent creature. Because he didn't like fall into being evil. He just decided he was going to be. So
I was wondering like what Mary, like, let's say Mary wrote something else or she was thinking about her. She was being interviewed. If we asked her, what if he was shown love? Would he have been okay? I really want her to be like, I want her to say, yeah, he would have been fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's actually true. Because there's a part where he, what's his name? Milton.
Milton.
No, not Milton. The other guy.
Walton.
Walton. He is meeting, or he's like in front of Milton, and he's like, oh, I remember he said that he's a really good manipulator. He's good with words. And I'm like, is he manipulating, or is that just truly his heart? Like he's speaking from the heart. So that's the only
what I'm thinking. What made me doubt that he's a manipulator is that Vicky was the one who said that he was a manipulator,
right?
And he's the one who's been manipulating everyone. So that's why if I had to place a bet, I would place money on that. Typically, when the monster speaks, he's being completely earnest, and that if someone had shown him love, he would have been a decent person. But if we were to believe Vicky, then all of that's an act just to trick you.
We can't believe Vicky though.
And I don't believe him because so far, like everything the monster has said, he's done. You know, so like he was straight up like he told him, "I'm going to kill people unless you're nice to me," and so he did that, you know. He never lied.
He's a man of integrity. He does what he says he's gonna.
He does. He stands by his word. Unlike freaking Vicky, who like doesn't tell the truth about anything, doesn't tell anyone what he's been up to, and just lets people die for it, and is willing to manipulate whoever to just get whatever he thinks is, you know, the best end for himself. Ridiculous.
Yep.
Man, I just really hate him. Like I didn't like him before this episode. Now I'm like, is he like the scum of the earth? Like, is he on the hate squad? Yeah.
He's definitely on the hate squad.
Yeah. Welcome to the hate squad, Vicky.
Welcome,
Enjoy
Vicky.
your time. He's like, oh, why am I here with all of these monsters? I don't deserve this.
Gross. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I'm just going to take a nap. I just need to take a nap.
It's like, I'm not in the right place. I'm going to sleep. Where's the nature?
Yeah. Seriously.
What about Pinkies Up? How many Pinkies Up do we rate this book?
I'm giving it 4.5 Pinkies Up.
I'm thinking that too. That other 0.5 is like the parts I skipped where I was like, I just hate listening to this man tell a story.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give it 4.5 as well. That's what I've been thinking all week. So that might be the first time we've ever had like a
full consensus.
Like, consensus, especially like a 4.5 consensus specifically.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened before.
No, but
I was going to give it a 4, and then you said 0.5, and I was like, wait, that's way better. I don't want to give it a 4. That's too low.
Yeah, I have to give it a 4.5 because it's a great story, excellently written. I just don't want to listen to Vicky talk, and he talks so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, so will I read it again at some point? Probably. Am I going to like jump back into reading it again right away? No, I can't tolerate that much.
Got to take a little break.
I'll
reread the part where the monster is by himself. Like those chapters where he's recounting.
Ooh, yeah.
But I don't know if I'll ever read it all the way in depth again because it would make me mad, but I will read it again. So
I do think it's one everyone should read though. I'm really glad I read it.
And it's
Yes.
short, so you guys can do it. It does have the elevated language thing that makes it a bit of a headache, but it's pretty short, so that kind of helps.
But the hard chapters, you can just look it up on SparkNotes like I did.
I love SparkNotes for that.
Notes is iconic.
just,
and a
just the
legend.
boring
My best
parts
friend.
where he's talking a lot. Those are the parts.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is that everything we have to say about this book?
I think
About
so.
this book, there's one thing that's just random. I love Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and it's referenced in this book a lot. Quite sick.
Oh,
It's one of my favorite poems. So
that's nice.
go read it. It's really long and it's not happy at all.
I feel like we
Um,
argued about that in college. I really feel
Really?
like we did. I feel like you said you liked it and I said it was long or something. Because that was
Listen.
how a lot of our arguments went, to be honest.
You said it's old, and I said, yeah, it stood the test of time. And he went, I don't. I'm
I don't like
too
it.
busy reading a contemporary novel to hear what you're
Yeah,
saying to me. I don't know.
pretty
what
much,
you're
yeah.
That's how
saying.
it goes here too.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get better with contemporary novels. I'm not
So funny.
there. I'm trying. I have like 340 books on my TBR, and I just keep adding. So
Oh my
Dude.
goodness. That's hysterical.
can't buy all of them because I don't have room, and also
Yeah.
that's a lot of money. Wow.
It is a lot of money. That's my main problem. I'll just stack books on the floor, like just
I
stack
have
and
two-
stack and
yep.
stack. Yep.
Got 2 of those. Yep.
Because then eventually your husband will buy you a bookcase because he'll get fed up with tripping on them.
I'm trying to figure it out. Like, where would we even put it?
I don't know. See, he'll find a way. If you put it in his way, he'll find a way.
I'll put the books on his keyboard. So he's like,
Yes.
oh, you can't play your game until you
Until you
Put it on
figure
the
out where to
bookshelf.
put my books.
it's not on the
Yeah.
floor though.
Not
We
the
are
floor.
getting a puppy soon, and I
Oh.
while I do know like we're not gonna like let him loose throughout the apartment right away. I am kind of
Mhm.
nervous, like easy pickings for
With the
puppy
books, I know.
pee and chewing. So
Yes,
Oh,
very
yeah.
true. I used to get so freaked out because Flora particularly will chew up anything, especially paper. And so when I used to have no bookshelves at all. So I had them all my books stacked. Like I had to turn them like paper towards the wall and and I would just try and crowd other furniture around them. So as little of the paper was accessible as possible.
Maybe
Because
no.
Flora's a nightmare. Well, next week we are having our last episode of season 4, which I think we're
Yay.
supposed to be joined by another guest. I think Sabrina's supposed to join us for New Moon.
We'll see. Yeah, New
Stephanie Meyer.
Moon. Yay!
But or
we're
Sabrina might not come. I saw Kendall's face and maybe not. I don't know.
We'll see
But
how
New
it goes.
Moon.
New Moon is happening. We're doing
Which
Sabrina is a great
I-
name.
Yeah.
It is. I am not a massive fan of Twilight, which I've said before, but I am excited we're doing New Moon because this means I'll get to make my case for Jacob. And he was in the last book so little I couldn't.
This
really.
is your shot.
So,
I mean,
this
you
is
do
my shot.
ultimately lose, but I'm glad you have this book, you know?
I shouldn't have lost though. I'm glad you have this book. It's like a condolence prize.
Yeah, it is.
Jacob's
Edward is
good
so
up until
ridiculous.
he's like, yo, I want to marry your daughter, and like she smells
Yeah,
good.
see, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, he's really good up until then. Like
Listen,
he's a great contender until that moment.
Until he
I
wants
love
to
Edward does
marry
a
a
bunch
baby.
of weird shit though. Edward does so much weird shit.
I love
A
Jacob.
lot of red flags. There's a
but
red flag on every
he's
page.
Not my
Yeah.
with Edward.
but there was no way he was gonna win.
Foxy, which team are you?
Jacob. Oh, actually, okay. Alice.
No, you have to pick between Team Edward and Jacob.
And
Edward
like-
Jacob.
I like Team Alice.
Jacob
That
and
would be fun.
but that's
Yeah.
not an option. So for
Oh.
the first
Jacob.
time ever, I outnumber you.
This
Team
is
Jacob.
no. I was outnumbered with the Darkling for sure. Y'all
No,
were
I meant specifically on Edward and Jacob.
Oh,
But of
on
course,
Edward
that's
and
because you were wrong
Jacob.
about the Darkling, though.
well, okay.
So
Are you guys gonna get mad at me if I don't know what that is?
No, this is another
oh no, it's because
Shadow
and
thing.
Bone.
Six of Crows.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think you'd like it.
You're all
I
good.
think you'd
I'm
like Shadow
scared.
and Bone.
Uh,
I won't
I'm
hate you if you don't like it, but I do think you should read it because on the off chance you like it, I think you'll really like it.
I started
really
listening
like it.
to you guys talk about it, and then I was like, maybe I want to read it, and then I was like, maybe like, I was like,
You
I don't want
do.
spoilers, but
You want to read it. You want to read
Okay.
it.
Is it?
It is-
I'm just have a hard time with YA novels.
It's
No.
YA
It
fantasy,
makes
but
sense.
it's
Yeah, I
like
get you.
Yeah.
but it's a really high quality YA fantasy, and it kind of dips into NA more. It's Leigh Bardugo's the author. I don't know if you've ever, I'm guessing you haven't read her because she's more contemporary, but she's a really, really good writer. So
Okay.
Yeah, she's super
I
good.
trust you.
you might like The Craft is excellent. It's hard to find any
She wrote-
problem with The Craft.
Oh, okay. Wait, The Craft, the book?
No, The Craft,
No,
like
like
craft, like her writing craft.
I was like,
writing
she
style.
wrote The Craft? What?
No,
That
and
would
then,
be next level.
yeah, and she
Wait a
wrote Six of Crows too, which I'm wearing my sweatshirt for, my Ketterdam sweatshirt. So she's just so talented. I think you'll like it. It's hard to find anything like literary to critique about it because it's just really well done. So
A goth
good.
queen like Mary Shelley.
yes,
love
she
that.
is a goth queen. It's true.
I love
Do it.
good for Mary, I just would like to end on that note. I'm really
It's
like
good for Mary.
good for
I'm
her.
also
you know?
really proud of Mary, and I'm really
Yeah.
mad at like all of her male companions for vacation. It's not a vacation
Seriously.
I'd want to go on. Like
It
now I'm
sounds like-
never going to Switzerland for that reason.
the worst vacation of all time, but gave us a good book. So you know.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. So
Can
she's
we-
amazing.
Can we end with saying happy birthday to my mom?
Of course.
Happy birthday, Mommy. I love
Happy
you.
Birthday! This
Yeah.
is exciting.
No, I love her very much. It's
Aw.
obviously her birthday right now. So when she listens to it, it'll just be like, oh,
It'll
hey,
be a
it's my-
happy
Happy
belated
belated
birthday.
birthday.
But hopefully she's feeling a surge of love and appreciation from all of us right this
Yes.
moment. And then
Thank
again in a
you.
few days from all of the listeners. So
Yes.
Yes. This is
Everyone send your love. to
send your
Lexi's
love
mama.
to Lexi's mom right this minute.
yay. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
This is not a book she would like.
and
glad
we
she
send her an
listened.
apology.
Yes. No. So I might have told you this, but I had her read The Great Gatsby, and I think can't remember. I feel like she read it completely by now, but in high school I had her read it, and she skipped to the end to see how it ended. She
Oh,
does this with
no.
every book,
No.
and she was like, "Actually, I can't finish reading it because it's really sad." And I was like, "Mommy, but it's so good. You have to read it." So now she doesn't have to skip to the end with this one. She just knows how it ends, which is good.
Well, yeah, there you go.
That's
There
good.
you go.
That's funny.
Okay, Mom.
All right. Well, we love you too. She reminds me so much of my mom. I love your mom. She's
Oh,
so
I
sweet.
love your mom.
I know. It's because they're very similar.
Yeah, they're great. I love them.
When they're together, I'm like, oh my God, it's like two of the same person.
I think my mom would be friends with Bigfoot too.
Yeah. It's a very specific type of personality.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think they're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I'm going to tell my mom that.
I think you should, because if she does get into Bigfoot stuff, my mom would finally have somebody to talk to you about like Sasquatch and Bigfoot.
It's so
And as
cute.
it is, it's like she kind of keeps it a secret because she knows everyone's going to judge her for it. And she talks about it to me, but she can tell that like I don't really understand it like she understands it. And then she gets like kind of quiet again. And I'm like, no, Mom, you can talk about it. And she's like, you don't understand. I'm like, no, I don't.
I love cryptids. I don't know if I believe they're real, but how cool would it be if there's just
Pretty
like,
darn fun.
yeah.
I think some of them are real for sure. I love cryptids as well.
Yeah,
My mom
that'd be
also
fun.
likes cryptids. So I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
But
Mothman's
anyways,
real. Anyway,
What is the
Mothman.
Mothman? You want
Yeah.
the Mothman to be real?
he doesn't bring the doom. He just tells you it's about to happen.
That's
I want
so-
him to be real
that's
too. I like
creepy.
him.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. What do you think he eats? Like sweaters?
Oh.
Like-
That took me a really long time to understand why you said that. I was like, why are you? That's so random. And I
like,
was
why would he eat
he's,
sweaters?
he's a moth. That's really funny.
I hope he does.
Wait, that's
Do
so
you think he
cute
has to
and
keep all the?
harmless.
I know he has to keep all the lights off in his house so he doesn't just like keep flying into the
Aw.
ceiling.
Yes.
That's really rough. Oh my God.
It's really funny.
He has to live in Forks, Washington because it's dark all the time.
It's really, really good.
The Mothman is the new Edward Cullen.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God. Where's our
Oh.
Mothman YA romance? You know?
I'm crying. That's really good.
I want it. That was good. Whoever writes that'll be the next Mary Shelley. Just watch. They're gonna be
Yep.
the mother
Right.
of cryptid fiction.
Mother of cryptid fiction. Okay, it's gonna be one of y'all, dear
I
listeners.
hope it's
We're
I hope
counting
it's
on you.
me.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gonna be you,
Or
Lexi.
Foxy.
I'm
It's
excited.
you. Please do it. I don't have the emotional wherewithal, I think, to write a romantic fantasy with Mothman.
It won't
But-
be. It'll be. Listen, I can't write romance, so it's gonna be.
You're like
spooky.
fiction. It'll be nonfiction. I'm just gonna go meet the Mothman and write about him.
Yeah, perfect. This is a journal entry about me meeting a Mothman.
Yeah.
At least I think it is. He's really hairy and his eyes are red. Could just be a guy, I guess.
It could just be a guy. I mean,
Hope it's not. Anyway,
oh, that's funny.
thanks for having me, you guys.
Of
This was so
course.
fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. We'll obviously have you again for more of our holiday episodes.
I'm so excited. Are there Christmas books besides A Christmas Carol?
See, that's a great question. I want to say no, because I don't think we did a Christmas book. I don't think we did a themed one. Let me see.
Well, we did.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't know.
There's like an Agatha Christie Christmas book, and I love her. But I haven't read it
sounds
before.
Really great. Hang on. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. You guys,
I'm so
season 5
excited.
is still season 5 is it's like we have our list, but it's not like set in stone or anything. So I'm gonna look that up.
so
Maybe we'll do that.
I've been looking for a reason that'll make me actually read more of her books, because I have so many of her books on my TBR, and I just need to sit down and read them. I'm so excited.
I love a good Christmas mystery. No,
She's
this
so
sounds
good.
amazing. Okay. That'll be good. I vote
Yay!
yes. I think we should do it.
I
So-
vote
I'm so
absolutely
excited.
yes.
Okay,
You
then
guys.
we're doing it. So Foxy's
Yay.
going to join us for that, for the
Yay.
Agatha
See you there.
Christie Christmas book, which I don't know what it's called, but we'll know
I don't
by
either,
then.
but
So
I'll
we'll
send it to you.
figure it out.
yeah, it's a couple months away. We've got time to learn the name of the book, so no
Yeah,
worries.
Perfect.
If you guys liked this episode, if you enjoy the club, if you guys want to support us, that would be great. You can go to patreon.com/Story Siren Studio. That's our production company. That's where you can see our beautiful faces in this video recording and all of our video episodes. You can also get bonus episodes, exclusive merch. If you don't want to do Patreon, no worries. You can also go to StorySirenStudio.com and check out our merch. We have our Always Falling for the Villain merch right now, plus some other really cute merch that we've got up at the moment. And then we will have our Christmas merch up again by the time that Foxy returns to us. So go check it out if you like the holidays and you like books, and or if you don't like the holidays and you like books, there's plenty of stuff there for you. You guys can also follow us during the week on social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok, obviously. We're That Pretentious Book Club. Instagram, I've been like killing it with memes lately, so I'm going to do my best. You guys have no fear, but hopefully we'll have a TikTok this week for you guys about Frankenstein.
I'm going to do it. I swear.
That'd be great.
It.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
I
amazing.
swear. So it'll be good because we have, meaning me has kind of forgotten about TikTok, and I'm very sorry if anybody cares. Anyways, I think that's everything we've got. If you liked us, leave a review and a rating below. That would be great. We love seeing those from you guys. Reach out if you guys have book recs or just want to chat about what you're reading. And until next week, keep your teacups full
Your pinkies high.
and your book club.
Pretend.
Pretend.
Yay!
I get so nervous with prompted things. I'm like, what if I say that?